Welcome to SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator baseball. Back here for Game 3 of the regional quarterfinals between the Gateway Gators and the Yoakum Bulldogs. I'm Wally Harmon along with Efren Sanchez. And Efren, here we go. Game 3. Game 1 goes to your Gateway Gators 6-1. Last night, a crazy finish in Game 2. The Yoakum Bulldogs take it 6-5. And the ever-pressing Game 3 here. Win and go home. Win or go home.
It just got fun, didn't it, Wally? Sudden death elimination game here in LaGrange, Texas. But, Wally, I think it's important for our Gator faithful to understand the situation here. I mean, yes, we did lose a tough one last night. Looks like we had a chance there in the top of the 7th to maybe pull it close. But at the beginning of this season, there were many question marks to this 2019 Gator squad. There was the loss of 3 stalwart seniors, Taylor Smith, Blake Rambush, and Seth McAllister. And a lot of the questions were, how was this team going to perform without those 3 big pieces leaving?
And I think it's come to fruition. They've been pressed in the playoffs, and they've done a good job. They responded against Hallettsville. I think they went in with the mindset, well, this is a great team. We're not supposed to win. They won Game 1. And then it went to, wait a second, we're supposed to be here. And you've seen that mentality change with this team. They battled last night even down. Just a couple of breaks here and there.
So you got the offensive contribution. Statistically speaking, well, if you compare this team versus last year's team, almost dead even in a lot of statistical categories. But here's one question mark that we did not have starting this season. There was never a question mark about pitching depth. And if you believe that, and if you know that as a Gator fan, then you're comfortable in this situation. By the way, that illustrated itself in the previous series against Hallettsville. We were one pitcher deeper than that team, and that's why we won that game. And so if you are the Gateway Gators, there should be a quiet confidence about your step right now.
And I think we come full circle now to the Hallettsville. One of the heroes in Game 3, Gabe Dixon, takes the mound today as the starter for your Gateway Gators. So a good matchup here. Something different that Yoakum hasn't seen from us, a left-handed pitcher. Something a little different than Noah brings, or Cole Johnson brings, or Thomas Huell brought. So a different look here. Coach changing things up today. Coach Gomert's changed up the lineup. We'll go over that here in a minute. Just a new atmosphere. Maybe a new spark in this team.
Well, and last night I think that Cole Johnson relied a little bit more on his fastball there towards the end of his outing. Today, you know that Gabe Dixon's going to mix it up. He's going to have changeups. He's going to have curveballs. He's going to come from a quirky angle. So that should pose a challenge for these pesky Yoakum Bulldogs.
So we'll go to the lineups as the 4-man umpiring crew comes to home plate to meet with Coach Sines and Coach Gomert. Today the coin toss last night was performed. Yoakum wins the coin toss. They will be the home team here in the deciding Game 3. We go to the lineups. We'll start with the visiting Gateway Gators. Gateway comes into the ballgame 25-8 on the season. Today they'll wear the road gray pants with the green pinstripe, the green uniforms with the orange lettering and numerals, and the white highlights with the all-green hat, white G on the logo, and the orange bill batting out of the first base dugout. They'll start the lineup today with the center fielder, number 6, Chris Barlin. In the 2-hole, we have the second baseman, number 10, Simeon Harmon. The 3-hole, we'll see the shortstop, number 3, Nick Chalman. In the 4-hole, we'll stay the same with our third baseman, number 12, E.J. Sanchez. In the 5-hole, we go to the catcher, Sawyer Scott, number 18. In the 6th hole, we'll have our designated hitter, number 21, Jack Bumpus, hitting for the left fielder, Aaron Werchin. In the 7th hole, we'll have Thomas Huell, number 17, the right fielder for the Gators. In the 8th hole, the substitute in for the Gators, filling in at first base, will be number 23, Daniel Brady. He'll be at first for Dixon, who will be batting 9th, and on the mound today, number 2, Gabe Dixon. So the Gators will come with Barlin, Harmon, Chalman, Sanchez, Scott, and Bumpus, Huell, Brady, and Dixon. So some changes there in the lineup. Efren, Coach Gomert mixing some things up. Harmon comes from 9 to 2. Dixon goes back down to 9. Earlier in the season, Dixon was hitting in the 6-7 hole and just making great contact. Maybe some pressure off of him. Focus on the mound today. Your job is the mound. Deliver the strikes. And so switching things up, Daniel Brady now steps in.
Well, and I think that if you look at here in the season with the results that we've gotten, I think Coach Gomert has done a very, very good job of putting guys into play that were performing at the time. And so this has been a performance-based lineup from the beginning. There has nobody that's just owned a certain spot in the order. Coach Gomert believes in putting the guys in that are contributing and who's being productive. And so I like this change. Coach Gomert's personality has not changed.
And we'll go to the home team, the Yoakum Bulldogs, for Game 3 here. They'll be in the all-white unis again. Royal blue lettering, royal blue and white striped stirrups with the white hat and the royal blue decorative bill. For the lineup for your Yoakum Bulldogs, leading off will be this, and really they pretty much go with the same lineup. One little change here with your catcher going to the mound. They'll start off with, Holden Lauer, the shortstop. Number 1 will bat lead off again, followed by the first baseman, number 25, Connor Zaruba. In the 3-hole will be the pitcher today, number 10, Staten Packabush. In the cleanup hole again will now be a catcher, will be number 7, Hagen Garvin. In the 5-hole will be the second baseman, number 20, Blake Gordon. In the 6-hole will be the left fielder, number 9, John Sanchez. In the 7-hole will be the right fielder, number 2, Kevin Kuliba. In the 8-hole will be the third baseman today, the number 12, Kyle Kuliba. And bringing ninth spot for the Bulldogs will be the center fielder, number 3, Travis Stansberry. So the Bulldogs will go with Lauer, Zaruba, Packabush, Garvin, Gordon, Sanchez, Kuliba, and Stansberry. So you see the change here. Packabush leaves the catcher's area, goes to the mound. Garvin, the third baseman, comes to catcher. Kyle Kuliba comes in here and steps into the third base role for the Bulldogs. The interesting competition here, Packabush came in the last inning there, relieved Zaruba on the mound. Efren did a good job. The Gators made some contact against him. He does have some good numbers. Hasn't pitched a lot for the Bulldogs. It looks like Zaruba and Lauer were their go-to men throughout the season. And so it'll be interesting to see how he fires at the Gators today.
Well, if you look at the numbers, not a whole lot of experience as far as innings pitched. He's only have 19 innings pitched. His ERA is .724, and so I think that if you want to compare Packabush versus Gabe Dixon, I think in that regard, just straight up, you want to give the advantage to the Gators.
So now as they introduce the home team, the Bulldogs from Yoakum, their players will be taking the field as we prep for the national anthem. We're going to hear a word from the UIL, and then we'll be back and try to bring you the Star Spangled. But actually, we'll just keep it here, Efren. We're pretty close to being done. We'll keep it here for the national anthem, take a quick break, and come back for the first pitch. So the game today, 20-11-2 for the Yoakum Bulldogs coming into this elimination game. The Gators 25-8, and it's all here on the field for the seniors. You think about it, for the Gators, you have Cole Johnson, Carson Parters, Simeon Harmon, Ethan Miller, and Gage Heyman. For the Bulldogs, you have Holden Lauer, David Perez, Byron Pekar, Hagen Garvin, Caden Burns, I apologize. So you've got several seniors on both sides, 5 or 6 on each side, that they're playing for everything here. They get to either continue on and face Bishop, or they go home and they're done with their high school career. So you'll see who responds. So we'll take a quick break. We'll bring up the field mic and enjoy the national anthem. We'll be back right after these messages from the UIL.
Scholastic League would like to thank its corporate sponsors. Without the generous support of these sponsors, many UIL activities would not be possible. The UIL gives special thanks to Balfour, Baylor Scott and White, Dairy Max, Dairy Queen, Ford, Fox Sports Southwest, Gatorade, Hellas Construction, Max Preps, the NFHS Network, Nike, Register My Athlete, Spalding, and Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. These generous corporate sponsors support the UIL in all its activities, music, academics, and athletics. The UIL appreciates these sponsors and their participation in all that the UIL does in Texas extracurricular activities. On behalf of the UIL and its corporate sponsors, thank you for supporting UIL activities in your community and enjoy the game.
Welcome back to SHN Sports coverage of the Gateway Gator baseball here in LaGrange, Texas, on the campus of LaGrange High School, home of the Fighting Leopards, on the field that Homer Bailey built. A couple of national or state championships, early 2000s. Homer Bailey, one of the phenomenal pitchers to come out of the state of Texas and go on to the professional ranks. What a beautiful complex here, Efren. Game 3, we come in. First off, I want to take a moment and thank our servicemen and women as we enjoyed that national anthem and the veterans that have gone before. Special shout out to my daughter, serving in the Army at Fort Knox, Kentucky right now. I hope she's listening along today.
Very good. Well, a muggy, humid day here in LaGrange, Texas, but good weather for baseball. Hopefully the guys stay hydrated out there. Again, that heat and that humidity will be a challenge. But Chris Varlin leading off here, and last time we saw Chris with a big-time single to the right side to push the action there in the top of the 7th inning last night. Was a crucial hit. Let's see if Chris can stay hot here.
As we see a Bishop coach coming in to scout the third and final game here between the Gators and the Bulldogs.
Fun, isn't it, Wally?
It is a blast. You know, they're looking forward to it. They swept their opponent 2-0 and are sitting here waiting for one of these teams. So Packerbush will take the mound, the right-hander in the windup. Chris Barlin steps in on the right side for the Gators. First pitch, Barlin pops it up to the right side. The second baseman ranges back, makes a play on it, and the catch, it'll be an F4 as he's out into right field for Gordon, and the first out here in the top of the first for the Gators.
Yeah, you want to see Chris as a leadoff hitter, maybe see a couple more pitches there, at least one. But like that one, and unfortunately popped it up and so quickly gives Packerbush a fast out. So probably not the start you wanted, but nonetheless, that'll bring up Simeon Harmon here in the 2-hole.
Second baseman steps in from the right side, sees a breaking ball. A little up in the zone. Different zone we're seeing early on. That's a strike in the top half of the zone for Harmon. So he'll start no balls, one strike. One out here in the top of the first. Packerbush in the windup. Peers over his glove as he holds it close to the top of his bill. Harmon settles the fire, and he'll drive it down the right side. It's going to bend out a play into the bullpen area. So Harmon stays alive here. No balls, 2 strikes. The Gators not hesitating to swing.
Well, you wonder if it's a mindset. Maybe Coach told them, hey, we're going to go ahead and be aggressive on this guy early. Maybe from last night they were comfortable. Again, they got several hits off of him there in the top of the 7th, so it looks like that has carried over till today.
Harmon back in the box. Packerbush in the windup. Rocks and fires. And a breaking pitch driven right back up the middle past the pitcher. Gordon ranges over, fields it, bobbles it, throws to first. And a close play, but they get him. 4-3 on the putout for the second out of the inning here for the Gators. A great shot by Harmon right past the head of Packerbush. But Gordon did a good job of getting over, fielding it. He bobbled it, but made a good throw to get Harmon at first.
Yeah, good solid hit there by Simeon up the middle. Second baseman ranges over and makes a nice play over there at the backhand. Throws over and gets him in time. So quickly 2 down here for the Bulldogs.
Nick Chalman, the shortstop, steps in, number 3 from the right side. He readies. Packerbush rocks and fires. First pitch outside for a strike on the outside corner. Nice pitch there. You see where the pitchers go to test this umpire. See where his zone is as compared to last night's. Packerbush works ahead of Chalman. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the first. And the breaking pitch low for a ball. Evens the count for Chalman.
Yeah, Chalman this year uncharacteristically batting .275 with 28 hits, but has been making a lot of contact here down the stretch.
Packerbush quickly back ready on the mound, peers in, and rocks and fires. Chalman makes contact, drives it between the shortstop, third baseman. Shortstop, Lauer, bobbles it, picks it up and throws, but Chalman will beat the throw. It's going to be an error on the shortstop. E6 there. The board puts it up as a hit. I think Lauer makes that play clean. Chalman's out on a 6-3 putout. But nonetheless, Gators have their first runner.
Well, the reason they called that a hit is it was deep in the hole. You would think that most shortstops at this level are going to make that play. But in any event, that leaves Nick Chalman over at first base. And let's see if Nick can be a little aggressive here, Wally. I mean, we have a catcher here that's untested. It's their backup catcher because their catcher is on the mound tonight. Let's see how aggressive Coach Gomert is in this situation early in the game.
Cleanup hitter number 12, E.J. Sanchez, steps in for the first time. Sees a pitch from Packabush, called a strike on the outside corner. Nice pitch, fastball there. Chalman gets his lead off first, being held on there by Zaruba. Packabush in the stretch now. Comes set. Sanchez drives the ball, left center field. On the run is the center fielder Stansberry and makes the catch running towards left field for the third and final out of the top of the first. So the Gators go 4 up, 3 down with a 1 hit, no runs, and no errors with 1 man left on here in the top of the first. We'll take a quick break and be back with the bottom of the first here on SHN Sports.
What?
The sacrifice, the dedication, the grit. I mean, they really set an example, don't they?
Oh, well, no question. Today's high school athletes are truly special.
Not the athletes.
Well, who?
The officials.
Oh.
Today's student athletes are truly special. But there's something pretty great about the men and women who officiate their games, too. Like the way they're giving back to their communities. Officiating is a terrific way to stay in shape, meet new people, and stay connected to the game you love. But the biggest reason of all? We need more qualified high school officials here in Texas. And without them, the rest of us would have a whole lot less to cheer about. High school games need officials. High school sports need you.
Great call, Ralph.
Yeah.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Welcome back to SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator Baseball. We go to the top of the second. Efren, Gabe Dixon on the mound for the Gators.
Yeah, and this is a situation once again, Wally, where you know Gabe Dixon, he mixes it up, a lot of different pitches, a lot of different angles. But Gabe doing a fantastic job last time out, as we mentioned in the pregame, against that Hallettsville team. So here's one thing that I think people don't understand about Gabe Dixon is he's a big-time competitor. Last night, I think he may have a little chip on his shoulder after that bunt didn't get put down there in the top of the seventh. He might be pitching with a little bit of an edge today, Wally.
We'll see what he brings. He did a great job against Hallettsville in Game 3. Came in and threw 4 fantastic innings. So we'll set the defense real quickly for you for the Gators here in the bottom of the first. You'll have Werchen in left, Barlin in center, Huell in right field. Third base around to first, you'll have E.J. Sanchez, Nick Chalman at short, Simeon Harmon at second, and Daniel Brady at first. And your battery on the mound, Gabe Dixon, throwing to number 18, Sawyer Scott. That'll bring up the first batter of the game for the Bulldogs, Holden Lauer. He sees a pitch from Gabe Dixon, a little high for ball 1. Lauer, the senior shortstop for the Bulldogs. Steps back in. Dixon from the left side. Winds and fires. And Holden takes a shot. It'll be to left field. Werchen ranges over. About 7 or 8 steps. Makes the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the first for the Bulldogs on an F7 putout.
And so there you go again. Gabe Dixon with that nice loopy breaking pitch. Lauer gets up under it and pops it up to left field. Good job by Aaron Werchen ranging over to make that play. But a very good first out for your Gateway Gators.
Looks like the wind's blowing in here. Kind of right to left, but nothing out over the fence. So balls are going to be held up as you hit them to the outfield today. Breaking pitch from Dixon a little bit on the outside corner there to Zaruba, umpire. I love what he just did there. He gave Gabe a little sign, hey, a little bit out for me. Gabe shook his head like he understood. Let him get back to work.
And Gabe very much a touch pitcher, not a power pitcher.
Zaruba back in from the right side. He's a lefty at first base, bats from the right side. Takes ball 2 from Dixon. 2 balls, no strike to count on Zaruba. Zaruba steps back in, and Gabe Dixon.
Zaruba with a big game yesterday. Big contributor.
Sees a pitch from Dixon, and a called strike on the outside corner. Nice pitch by Dixon there to get back in the groove. 2 balls, 1 strike to Zaruba. Zaruba did pitch a good game. The Gators got to him early, a little bit later, but he did a great job for a freshman contributing here on the Bulldog team. Next pitch from Dixon just outside. That'll move the count to 3 balls, 1 strike on Zaruba. Nice pitch there by Dixon, just a bit outside on the right-handed batter.
Yeah, just missing just by a hair on that outside corner.
Wind and fire. And the pitch called a strike on the outside corner. Gabe Dixon went right back to the corner, just moved it in a couple inches, gets the call. Zaruba yet to swing the bat in this at-bat, has seen some pitches, and now the full count. 3-2 on Zaruba, 1 out, bottom of the first. Dixon fires. Zaruba takes the cut back into the netting for a foul ball. Stay alive in the count. 3-2. Nice pitch there by Dixon.
Reminds me a lot of a Tom Glavine type style. He just kind of goes soft away, soft away, soft away, and every once in a while he'll surprise you and punch you with the fastball. So good job by Gabe there pitching on this top of this bottom of this first.
Zaruba steps back in the box. Dixon winds the fire from the windup. Pitch on the outside corner, called strike 3. That's a punch out, strikeout looking for Gabe Dixon. Zaruba, not often you see him do that. And a big out there for the Gators, the second one here in the inning on the Bulldogs. And it'll bring up the number 3 hitter, the pitcher today, number 10, Staten Packabush.
Good job. Nice to see Gabe with the K there on Zaruba, a guy who was a thorn on our side yesterday.
Zaruba did a great job yesterday all around. Packabush steps in. Breaking ball by Dixon, in there for a called strike. Nice pitch. Like you said, I love the comparison. That Tom Glavine look, nice and smooth, that crafty left-hander, and he will move the ball around on you, and you just don't know what's coming. Gabe Dixon winds and fires. And another breaking pitch fouled off back into the net by Packabush, and Gabe gets ahead of Packabush quickly here, 0-2.
Yeah, Packabush, their big offensive leader, batting .418 on the season with 41 hits, so big-time offensive producer.
1 for 3 yesterday for Packabush. Grounds the ball to the shortstop. Chalman makes the play. Throws over to first to Daniel Brady. And 6-3 on the putout. Good job by Chalman there. Kind of took a hop. He bellies it up into the glove. Makes the throw to Daniel Brady with the scoop. And the Gators are out of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on for the Bulldogs. After 1, it's a 0-0 ball game. We'll be back on SHN Sports after this. Welcome back to SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator Baseball. This broadcast brought to you in part by KC Bumpus, Realtor with the best of Wilco team at Keller Williams Realty. Whether moving your family, investing in college, or selling your home, Best of Wilco are laser focused on your needs and goals, keeping the real estate process streamlined, professional, and drama-free. For the last 15 years, they've helped hundreds of clients buy, sell, and invest in real estate in Central Texas, and they look forward to building a successful relationship with you. To the bestofwilco.com is the website, www.bestofwilco.com. And we thank KC Bumpus for her support of Gateway Gator Baseball. We're going to go to the second inning, going to turn it over to Efren Sanchez here, and he'll take us through the top of the second for the Gators.
Thank you, Wally. And just setting it up here, a sea of blue here down the third base line for the Yoakum Bulldogs, the home team today, and green and orange down the right side here, the Gateway Gator faithful here in for a good one. First pitch in there, breaking ball by Packabush in there for a strike on Sawyer Scott. Nice backdrop here, nice green trees, foliage here in the background. Very, very nice place to watch a Texas high school baseball playoff game. Packabush picks up the sign, sets, delivers, curveball on the outside part of the plate, not handled by the catcher there. Evens the count at 1-1.
Effort, it makes you wonder, like you said, Garvin comes in, has to be an untested catcher as Packabush hasn't pitched much. You got to assume he caught a lot of games this year. There he struggles with that curveball in the dirt. See how he reacts today.
Well, it'll be something that we'll watch when we get base runners on the base paths and see how Coach Gomer handles that situation. Pitch is delivered. Sawyer swings and fouls that one off down the first base side, out of play. 1-2 the count, so Packabush pitching ahead here. Top of the first, 0-0, just getting underway here in LaGrange, Texas. Top of the second, sorry. Curveball a little bit high, misses there. Evens the count at 2-2.
Good job by Sawyer laying off. Packabush throwing several breaking balls here early, Efren.
Yeah, throwing breaking balls. So far, missing with more of the breaking balls than he's hitting the strike zone. But we'll see if that's on purpose or on accident. Breaking ball inside and high. So now 3-2. The Bulldog faithful over there wanted that one called for a strike, but it looked high and inside from here. Nonetheless, we have a 3-2 full count. And let's see if Sawyer can win this early battle here against Packabush.
Great job to see some pitches here early for Sawyer.
Here's the delivery. That one hit right at the third baseman. He catches his on a line at the ankles. Good hard hit ball by Sawyer. And that'll be the first out here in the top of the second.
Great contact by Sawyer Scott. I think that kind of surprised Kyle Kaliba playing third today for Corbin. He looks over at the bullpen, at the dugout, laughing and kind of smiling like, whoa, Merry Christmas to me. He made a great play. I think it surprised him that he actually caught the ball.
Yeah, I'm curious how much experience Kaliba has over there at third base. A little uncomfortable feeling that play. He made the play nonetheless. That'll bring up the young and fearless Jack Bumpus from the left side. Pitch is delivered high and away to the lefty. And again, Jack doing a great job this year of coming up from JV and contributing. Here he is in the starting lineup in an elimination game. What a great experience for him and his family. So Packabush comes set, delivers. Jack hits that one, pops it up in the infield. The shortstop coming way in to make the play next to the pitcher. And that'll be 2 down here in the top of the Gators second.
Pop up there, shallow infield. Packabush was maybe 8 steps from it. Lauer coming all the way from the whole shortstop to field that one just to the right of the mound. Not making his pitcher do any work there, but quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the second for the Gators.
Let's see if Thomas Houle now steps into the box from the right side. See if he can get one of those big aggressive swings and drive something to the outfield and stretch this top of the second inning, put a little bit of pressure on Packabush here. Pitch is in there for a low ball. Again, the Bulldogs looks like they're contesting every pitch, but as well they should. Every pitch is important in this type of game. So 1-0 to Thomas Houle. Packabush with his glove up near his nose, staring into the catcher, picks up the sign, sets, delivers, and that pitch is high. 2-0 now the count on Thomas Houle, so Thomas here in a good hitter's count.
Thomas 0 for 2 yesterday with a walk, but made some plays there in right field, big time for the Gators. So Houle, that free swinger, taking his time with Packabush.
That pitch is in there for a strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Packabush changes delivery there, went a little bit faster. Was able to locate that fastball on the outside part of the plate. Good job by Thomas to see another pitch. I think that's a good idea here early on. So the 2-1 delivery is coming. Curve ball in there, swing and miss by Thomas Houle. So once again, you go hard outside with that fastball, and then you come back with that slow curveball in the dirt. Good job of pitching there by Packabush and having a plan. Evens the count at 2-2. And so Packabush sets up for the 2-2 delivery. Big kick there. Curveball in there for a strike. Thomas does not offer, so crossed him up there. Good job of pitching, and that'll retire the side here in the top of the second for your Gateway Gators. We go to the bottom of the second, 0-0 here in LaGrange, Texas.
Welcome back to SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator Baseball. We go to the bottom of the second here in the deciding Game 3 of the regional quarterfinal between the Gateway Gators and the Yoakum Bulldogs. And a shout-out to one of our sponsors this weekend, Stephen Vigil. And the Beal family sure appreciative of the alumnus of Gateway and the Gateway Gator baseball program helping out, chipping in here for the broadcast this week. Stephen, we appreciate it and are appreciative of the time and effort you gave to this program as well as we continue to cheer you on in college. We go to the bottom of the second. It'll bring up the cleanup hitter for the Bulldogs, number 7, Garvin. Hagen Garvin steps in from the right side. First pitch from Dixon. It's bounded up the middle left side of the bag. Harmon ranges over and stops it to keep it from the outfield. But Chalman was shifted way over to the left side to cut the 5-6 hole and just pretty much gave that infield single away to Hagen Garvin here to start the second.
Yeah, maybe a cross up there on the defensive alignment, but the Bulldogs nonetheless have the runner there at first base with nobody out.
Garvin with the single. Leads off first, brings up Gordon, the second baseman for the Bulldogs. He squares early. Sanchez charges in. I couldn't get that word out. And it's a ball. Gordon pulls the bat back for ball 1. The bunt, the ever-challenging bunt in this series.
Let's see how the Bulldogs execute here. Again, showing bunt. Gabe Dixon throws over to first, keeps that runner tight. So E.J. Sanchez at third base, really, really close up on in the grass. Looks like he's crashing here on the plate, of course.
Gordon squares very early. Garvin with the lead. Garvin does not go. The bunt laid down the first base line into foul territory. Sawyer Scott will touch it there for a foul ball. Brings the count even, 1-1. Garvin did not take off, but Gordon stayed with the bunt, pushed it down, trying to get it down the right first base line.
Yeah, you wonder here in this situation, and I like the fact that it's a push bunt going to the first base side. Gabe Dixon, a lefty, is going to have to bound off the mound, turn around, and throw there from the left-handed position, so it'll make it a challenging play. But again, EJ really playing up close here to try to go ahead and get that put out at first base. See what happens.
Be important for Sawyer Scott to come out quickly and try to build that to make the easier play. As Dixon throws over to first, Garvin dives back in safely. Daniel Brady holding him on there. Yeah. Sanchez about 4 steps in on the grass to start. From the stretch, Dixon comes set, and he wings it over. Great play by Daniel Brady to keep that from going up the first base line. But keeping Garvin close, I think the expectation here is Garvin's going to be off on the pitch now with the sack bunt coming into play. Coach Signs gives the signals out. Gordon steps out, looks at the wristband. Garvin looks at his, and Gordon resets in the box from the right side. 1-1 count in the bottom of the second. 1 runner on, no outs for the Bulldogs. Squares early, and he pulls back. Sawyer Scott makes the throw down to first. Garvin dives back in. But it's a ball. 2-1 count now. Gordon doing a good job of seeing the pitch, deciding if he's going to lay the bunt down or pull it back.
Yeah, good job there to pull that one back. That wasn't a good pitch to bunt, and so lives to fight another day here. 2 balls, 1 strike. Again, EJ really short up on the third base line, comes crashing in.
And the pitch is a curveball. Dixon, the bunt down. It's going to die fair. This grass will slow a ball down. It does. Dixon waits on it, trying to let it go foul, and it just stops on the line. It's going to be a bunt single for Gordon. Kind of think we've got to be aggressive there. Got to try to make that play.
Baseball is a game of inches, and here's the situation for you folks joining us on the radio. The grass here is very dense, very damp. It's a humid day out. That ball was bunted and had a lot of roll to it, a lot of English going as if it was going to go foul. The ball just ends up dying, and Gabe, of course, there wants to let it go foul and kill it there and come up with the second strike. Problem was that ball came to a dead stop on the line. That's a fair ball, and now the Yoakum Bulldogs have runners at first and second.
Early, you see, Efren, the Bulldogs are pushing. They're playing aggressive. Gateway's got to turn the momentum around here, get out of this trouble here. Now Sanchez will square the bunt. He takes a bunt at it and misses. Sawyer Scott throws behind him. Garvin at second. Ball gets away right through the legs of the 5-hole of Chalman as it went off the grass and straight to the ground. No hops here. That's the key. These kids have got to realize we're going from a turf where you get bounces and hops, and here this grass truly absorbs the baseball a lot. And so lucky there, Garvin doesn't go anywhere. We get a strike on the batter, Sanchez. And we'll reset now. Sanchez from the right side, squares early. Now Daniel Brady charges in. Curveball in the outside corner. Scott throws back to short to second. Chalman behind Garvin. Garvin dives back in safely.
but I like to see that because you know that the bunt play is down and they're bunting for a sacrifice, so that runner's going to have a very, very aggressive lead at second base. Good job by Sawyer Scott firing behind the runner. Even if he doesn't get him, that at least is going to hopefully hold him up a step or two.
Sanchez squares the bunt, lays it down the third base line perfectly. Sanchez, EJ, comes in, doesn't have a play at first, and the Gators have now surrendered a third hit in a row. Here in the bottom of the second, no outs, and the Bulldogs making things happen, playing aggressive, and the Gators haven't answered.
Well, and in that situation, a perfect bunt down the third base line. EJ fielded it cleanly. It was going to be a bang-bang play anyway. I don't know if Simeon was there, or maybe EJ just thought, I'm not going to throw this one away. I'm just going to eat it and live to fight another day. But now, beautiful execution, great fundamental offense by the Bulldogs. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the Gators in trouble here early in LaGrange, Texas.
Dixon set, bags full of Bulldogs. First pitch to Kevin Kaliba is a ball on the outside. A 1-0 count here on Kevin Kaliba, the right fielder for the Bulldogs. Steps in for his first at bat of the day from the right side. Dixon from the stretch. Next pitch in there for a swinging strike. Swing and a miss by Kevin Kaliba. That'll bring the count even. 1 ball, 1 strike. No outs here in the bottom of the second. 0-0 score early in this ball game, but the Bulldogs are pressing the issue. Bags full of Bulldogs. Kaliba at bat, no outs. Next pitch, grounded up the middle to Chalman at short. He'll pitch it to Harmon at second. Relay to first, not in time. Kaliba's going to beat it out. A run scores, an RBI single. RBI fielder's choice for Kevin Kaliba. That'll be 1 out with runners still at the corners and a 1-0 lead for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you almost had the double play there, but once again, this wet, natural grass makes that ball roll really slow, so it's not going to get there fast enough to run the double play, but the Gators do get that very important first out now for runners on the corners with 1 out.
6-4 on the putout of Sanchez at second base. Garvin comes across to score the first run, and Gordon moves up to third. So we got now Kyle Kaliba, the third baseman. Number 12 steps in from the right side. He's got runners on the corners. You would assume here that Kevin Kaliba will take off and try to steal a base. He stays put. Swing and a miss by Kyle Kaliba for the first strike. No balls, 1 strike here to Kyle.
Yeah, again, just the little things here, but you got to give all the credit to the Yoakum Bulldogs. They're doing the small things right, putting good bunts down. Just solid fundamental baseball.
Kyle Kaliba steps back in. You got a runner coming home. He was a suicide squeeze, and luckily, Kyle Kaliba does not get the bunt down. He fouls it off. Gordon was charging hardcore effort coming down third base.
Yeah, that was a suicide squeeze all the way. EJ yelled as soon as he took off, runner. So here's a situation where the Gators have to communicate well in these types of situations. You're trying to cut off that run at the plate, but we need to communicate here in this situation and know what we're doing.
And the pitch, Kevin Kaliba takes off from first, but it's a fouled off back behind the plate by Kyle Kaliba. Stays alive, no balls, 2 strikes. So he fights to see another pitch there.
Well, and what you like here is you like Coach Science putting something on almost every play. He's being very aggressive, like you said, Wally. Right now they're taking it to the Gators. That was a hit-and-run play, and the runner was going on the pitch, and the hitter fouled off that pitch even though it was inside right in his kitchen. So, again, good job of execution. Oh,
we get him in a rundown, but now Gordon's going to be looking at home. Gordon goes home. Brady fires to the plate. The throw gets away. Bad throw by Brady. It's going to be an E3 there to score the run. Gordon, you got to think the Gators have to settle and quit trying to force the play and just make the easy out here. Brady went a little too far up trying to worry about Kaliba. Give him the base. Do not give up the run. We give up the run here, and now we're down 2-0 in the bottom of the second.
Well, and what happened in that situation is Daniel Brady did the right thing. Gabe had the runner at first base picked off, and so you got to think there that the Yoakum Bulldogs were going to send the guy from third anyway. But Daniel does put him in the pickle there, chases him down, and then comes home to cut him off, but the throw was offline, and Sawyer not able to make it. Here's a ground ball to Nick, records the second out of the inning. And so what happened there was just an errant throw by Daniel Brady to the plate. Good job that Sawyer even keeping that from going to the backstop. Maybe more damage would have happened there. But 2 down here, and now runner at third base. But, boy, things just not bouncing the Gators' way here early on.
It almost looks like they're overthinking. They're over-expecting. They're over-guessing what's going to happen instead of just playing the game of baseball and letting it come to them. So now we got 2 outs. We got a runner on third as Kevin Kaliba is at third. Foul ball here by the center fielder, Stansberry. It's an 0-1 count as he steps in for the first time from the left side. Trying to catch up here on the line. We got a runner at third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. A 2-run lead for the Bulldogs early in the ballgame here in the bottom of the second. Kevin Kaliba leaves off third. Stansberry in the box on the right side. Gabe Dixon pitches. And it's low and inside. For a ball. Evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike on Stansberry. Stansberry last night had a good game. Had a base hit and a walk.
That pitch in the dirt, and good job by Sawyer Scott protecting that runner over there at the third base. So good job by Sawyer again. Masterful job blocking behind the plate.
2 balls, 1 strike to Stansberry. Reddy's back in the box. Kevin Kaliba leads off at third base. Dixon set from the stretch, and he'll fire. And a swing and a miss by Stansberry for strike 2 on the outside corner there. Nice pitch by Dixon working away from Stansberry. And now with a 2-2 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. It's a 2-0 lead for the Bulldogs from Yoakum. They have pushed the issue here in the second. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Sawyer Scott to bring the count full. Great job by Sawyer there to keep everything in front of him now when you got the runner at third base.
And if you're Gabe Dixon in this situation, you want to challenge number 3 here. He is the number 9 hitter in this lineup. Last thing you want to do is put this guy on and give the top of the order a chance to keep this ugly inning going for the Bulldogs.
Absolutely. He'll come set now from the stretch. Stansberry back in the box. Payoff pitch. Curveball in the outside corner. Called. Third strike. Great pitch by Dixon. And that will end the second inning. It's a 3-run game. I'm not sure where I see the third run come across. It should just be 2-0, I believe. We'll straighten it out. Come back for the top of the third here on SHN Sports. Welcome back to SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator Baseball. We move to the top of the third here in the third and deciding game between the Gateway Gators and Yoakum Bulldogs. The Gators find themselves down 2-0 here in the top of the third. The number 8 hole hitter, Daniel Brady, the first baseman, steps in for his first at-bat of the day. Takes a strike across the inside corner for strike 1.
Daniel Brady, a good fastball hitter, but has not had very many at-bats this season for the Gators.
It's an 0-1 count for Brady. Next pitch, elevated for a ball. That'll even the count out at 1-1. It is 2-0. The scoreboard went with a third run there. Got some confusion, and it got all straightened out now. So it is 2-0 Bulldogs. Top of the third, Gators batting. Brady sees the next pitch. Inside. Ball 2. And again, I love the way the umpire does that. Ball 3. I thought he called the second pitch a strike. Nope, it is 2-1.
Okay.
The scoreboard not paying full attention to the umpire. He's done a good job of being clear on his calls, I thought. And he does give the pitcher a signal if something is not there. 2-1 count to Brady. Fastball from Pekka Bush. Fouled off right side out of play. And it brings the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Daniel Brady.
Again, Daniel Brady, a good fastball hitter here in the 2-2 count. Let's see if Daniel can make good.
Daniel steps back in. 2-2. Pekka Bush from the windup. Fires and delivers. Outside, low and in the dirt to bring the count full.
Good job of Daniel Brady staying away off that breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Looked juicy, but no way he was going to get that one.
Great job there. Garvin does a good job of blocking it, keeping it in front of him there. But we go full count now on Brady. That payoff pitch on the way. And Brady chases a high fastball for strike 3. And that'll be the first out of the inning for the Gators. As we go to the number 9 hole, it'll be the pitcher, number 2, Gabe Dixon. Dixon steps in, moving from the 2 hole to the 9 hole today, focusing on the mound work and doing a fairly good job so far today, keeping the Gators alive. Comes up for his first at bat, Packabush from the windup, and Dixon takes a shot down the right field line, foul.
Gabe batting .270 on the season with 24 hits, so is capable of throwing out a couple of hits. Boy, the Gators need one in the worst way right here early on in this game. Dixon,
good contact hitter, does a good job of it. Last night, kind of the swing taken away from him. He bunts it there in that crazy top of the 7th, and it ends the game for the Gators. But see him back in the swing today. Next pitch in the dirt, breaking ball, 4-1. Packabush will not hold back from that curveball. He is throwing a lot of breaking pitches early.
Well, and it's incumbent on the Gators to not swing at that pitch. It's not a strike, but you got to know that they're feeling the pressure and they're pressing a little bit here.
Packabush on the windup, fires high for ball 2. Good job by Dixon to take that pitch.
Need base runners, a lot of them.
Absolutely. The Gators have got to play some aggressive baseball, not let the momentum totally go to the way of the Bulldogs. Good spot here for Dixon. Now he should see a couple of good pitches. Packabush fires, and Dixon fouls it off down the right side, out of play over the first base dugout. As it hits the stanchion, it comes back down to about 3 feet away from Chris Barlin in the on-deck circle.
It's raining baseballs.
And that'll even up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dixon. With 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Finally figure out the ball issue. Garvin throws it back to Packabush. He'll regather on the mound. Top of the 3rd, 2 runs in the bottom of the 2nd for the Bulldogs. Man, they push the issue, going aggressive. Coach Sines doing a good job there. And they lead it here. And Dixon chases a pitch in the dirt. It's Bass the catcher. Garvin winds up, grabs it, and throws it to first, but it's a bad throw by Garvin. The catcher gets past Zaruba at first and allows Dixon to reach base, so it's a strikeout swinging in the book, but he reached base on the E2. And like you said, Efren, we just need base runners right now.
Well, and fortunate for the Gators, finally we get the ball to bounce our way. Amazing the way the cookie crumbles differently in every game. In that situation, Gabe swing and a miss. That's a strikeout. The catcher, the backup catcher here, not used to being in this situation, throws wildly over to first base. Good job by the right fielder to come and cover that, though, keeping Gabe from going into second base. But now the Gators have something cooking here in the top of the 3rd inning with their leadoff hitter, Chris Varlin, up, and now there is a courtesy runner at first base.
Reese Peterson comes in to run for the pitcher, Gabe Dixon. Back in the top of the lineup, you find the Gators now. Chris Varlin steps in, and the pitch low and outside on a breaking pitch to Varlin for ball 1. Varlin in his first at bat flew out to the second baseman into deep infield, shallow right field on the first pitch of the game, and so he gathers back in for his second at bat.
And Wally, we'll see what happens here. Coach Sines has been putting the bunt down. Let's see what Coach Gomert does with the runner at first base. I mean, every run is critical. That runner at first base, you have to figure, as a manager, you have to figure out what's the best way for me to get him on second base. Let's see what Coach Gomert puts on here.
Barlin takes the pitch inside for strike 1. Evens out the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. Reese Peterson leads off first. Barlin's going to call time back out of the box. Gather himself, tighten the batting gloves, and step back in. Reese, number 15, Reese Peterson, leads off first. The courtesy runner for Dixon, being held on there by Zaruba. Packabush throws a breaking pitch down the middle. Barlin swinging a miss. Nice pitch there by Packabush.
Yeah, not even close on that swing, not recognizing that breaking ball out of his hand. So now Chris in a ditch, 1 and 2. Let's see if he can battle here with 2 strikes and put something in play, and at minimum get Reese over to second base and somewhere where he can be a threat.
Pitch in for Packabush, driven right back up the middle, past the head of Packabush for a single into center field. Great shot by Barlin. Moves Reese Peterson to second, and Barlin did his job there. Battled in, down 1 and 2. And I think Packabush saw his life flash before his eyes. He barely got his head out of the way. Barlin hit a shot right past his head.
Good contact there by Chris. Will bring up Simeon Harmon, who has been moved up just because his offensive production has been so good here in the Gator postseason. So now number 10 steps into the box from the right side with runners in first and second and only one out.
Harmon grounded out to a nice play by Gordon in the first inning, 4-3 on the putout. So he steps in 0-1 on the day. Sees the first pitch and drives it right back up the middle over the box into center field for the base hit. Barlin is going to be held up at third as Stansberry gets the ball into the first baseman Zarub on the cutoff. And the bases are chock full of Gators with one out here in the top of the third, Efren.
All right, and this is exactly what the Gators needed. They need to jump on Packabush here. That was a fastball, and Simeon doing a good job. Just take it right back where it came, right back up the middle. And now that sets up an opportunity for Nick Chauman, who's been moved down in the order here in this game due to the injury to Noah Krieger. Let's see if Nick could come through and push in a couple of runs.
Nick jumps from the 5-hole to the 3-hole today and started off his first at bat of the day with a base hit. So Chauman 1 for 1 on the day, has the bases full of Gators of his teammates. Good spot for Chauman. Takes a swing at the breaking pitch and misses. Nice pitch by Packabush there. He will throw that curveball in no particular fashion. No count scares him. And he starts Chauman off with the breaking pitch. 0-1 the count now to Chauman. 1 out. First and third playing in. Second and short playing in the double play position. Chauman gets a breaking pitch. Called strike 2. Didn't swing there. He took that pitch. So he falls behind now. No balls, 2 strikes.
And a critical situation here. While you got the bases loaded, yes, you're down 0-2, but all you need is contact. A ground ball should score Reese Peterson from third base, so you've got to figure out a way. Choke up on the bat, get your 2-strike approach, put something in play. The Gators need it in a bad way.
Chauman chases his pitch in the dirt for strike 3. Not even close. That pitch was way short. And a critical out, number 2 there on a strikeout by Chauman. Leaves the bases full with no runs across. But it brings up the cleanup hitter, number 12, E.J. Sanchez.
Can't have an empty at-bat there. Not with the bases loaded. You're trying to do too much. Let's see if E.J. can pick up his teammate here.
You got to put a star by that one for the Bulldogs. A big out with the bases loaded here in the top of the third.
Pretty simple. You stay off of that fastball and you sit on that. You stay off that curveball and sit on a fastball. That is the plan here.
Gets away. Reese Peterson on the run. He comes in. He slides in safely. What a job by Reese Peterson, the courtesy runner. He steps in, gets a good secondary lead, Everett. That curveball, Staten Packabush is leading up with it, and he's throwing it a lot, but he's throwing it a lot short. Garvin, the backup catcher, can't control that. A lot of times it's been getting away from him. That time it gets away to his right about 10 to 15 feet, and Reese Peterson makes him pay.
He's going to get a citation there from E.J. Sanchez. E.J.'s had the stop sign on Reese the whole way. Reese blew right by it and said, "No way, baby, I'm coming home. I need runs for my Gators."
And great job by Reese, stepping in, making it happen, slides in safely. 2-1 ball game now. 3 hits apiece for the teams. 2 outs, E.J. Sanchez, runners at second and third. And he holds off the curveball, does not swing. Going to ask for an appeal. No go, and it'll be a 2-ball, no-strike count. Great job by E.J. to see the breaking pitch and hold off.
So 2 breaking pitches here, Wally, that Packabush has thrown to E.J. All you have to do is sit on a fastball. That fastball is not coming in very hot, something that the Gators can handle. It's a matter of recognizing it. Stay off that curveball, sit on that fastball, and drive one. E.J. does well to do that here in this situation.
Pitch from Staten Packabush, high and inside for a ball. That'll bring the count 3 balls, no strikes on Sanchez. We're in the top of the third. Runners at third and second for the Gators. Chris Barlin at third, Simeon Harmon at second. No one being held on. The infield playing in normal positions. They only need the 1 out here to get out of the inning. Sanchez at the plate. Staten throws a high pitch for ball 4, and Sanchez is on to load the bases back up. Coach Sines steps out of the box to talk to his pitcher, telling him to calm down, but does not take a visit here, and that'll bring up Sawyer Scott.
And the Gators need to adopt that personality right here and that approach, Wally. Stay off of that curveball. That curveball is not landing in the strike zone. If they can do that, they can push the issue here against Packabush.
Packabush now being pressured like Dixon was in the bottom of the second, now in the top of the third. Gateway has the bases loaded again. Barlin at third, Harmon at second, E.J. Sanchez at first. Sawyer Scott, the catcher, steps in. Packabush's first pitch, a breaking pitch, and Sawyer Scott chases it. Fouls it off into the glove of Garvin for strike 1.
Yep, that ball is just a foot in front of the plate, and Sawyer not able to hold up. Again, good old-fashioned pitch recognition. He's got 2 pitches. He's got a curveball and a fastball. If you can avoid that curveball, you're going to be in good shape. Let's see if Sawyer can learn from that first pitch.
Scott readies. Packabush from the stretch. Fires. High fastball. And it's a ball. out of the zone, up high in the eyes of Scott. He lays off. Sawyer doing a good job there. And so the count's even, 1-1. 2 outs here in the top of the third. 2-1 lead for Yoakum. Gateway's battled back to cut the lead in half so far. And they've got the bases loaded. Time to pressure the Bulldogs now.
Be a good spot for one of those big Sawyer Scott doubles.
Sawyer Scott, curveball, swing and a miss. And the Gators just will not lay off that pitch from Packabush. It's one of the first ones that you see actually make it across the plate and not be in the dirt. Great pitch by Packabush, and Sawyer Scott trying to just crush it. Unfortunately, didn't get any piece of it.
Need to change your approach here. Shorten up, put a ball in play.
Packabush from the stretch, gets his signal from Garvin. And Sawyer Scott will step out. You can tell the inexperienced catcher from Garvin. He takes a little bit longer to get the pitch call from the coaches and get the signal up his wristband to give it to Packabush. Gateway's got to do a good job like Sawyer just did there of calling timeout and go at your flow. You be comfortable. And here we go with a 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 outs, and a curveball, swing and a miss. Sawyer Scott taking the big hack, and he goes down on 3 curveballs. I can't say it enough, Everett. They've got to stop chasing that curveball and live on that fastball that Packabush has to throw every now and then because he can't get the strikes across constantly with that curveball.
But good job there by Packabush saying, hey, they're chasing it. I'm going to keep throwing it. So let's hope that the Gators can grow from that inning. They get their 1 run aboard. So now it is a 2-1 game here going to the bottom of the third.
So right there, a big inning. A couple of stars in that inning for reminders at the end of the ball game. The big one there, the Gators have the bases loaded and do nothing but get 1 run across, and it's on a wild pitch. No productivity through 3 and 5 holes to get those runs around. That's not good for the Gators. They've got to change that opportunity. Sanchez drew the walk in the 4 hole to load the bases back up, but we've got to have that productivity. The Gators have got to be aggressive and start putting those hits together. You know Yoakum's going to do it. We just watched it happen. Now the Gators have to get back in that swing.
Baseball is about pitching, and right there in that situation, Packabush outpitched the Gator hitters.
So the Gators go to the bottom of the third, trailing 2-1. The Bulldogs will bring up their 4, 5, and 6 hole hitters. They They will bring up 1, 2, and 3. Lauer, Zaruba, and Packabush will lead it off here in the bottom of the third for the Bulldogs. Box score looks 1 run, 3 hits, 0 errors for the Gators. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 0 errors for the Bulldogs. All 3 hits, Efren, coming in that last inning, back to back to back. The single by Garvin, where Chalman was playing over, cutting off the 5-6 hole, giving the base hit up the middle, and then the 2 bunts for singles that just, do you call it misplay? Do you call it well-placed baseballs? It's not. It's the aggressiveness by Yoakum attacking the Gators.
Well, it's good old-fashioned fundamental baseball, small ball, put the bunts down, make the defense make plays. So far, Yoakum making a couple more plays than your Gateway Gators. We'll see if Gabe Dixon can stop the bleeding here and have a nice, clean, quick inning and let that momentum that the Gators built here in the last part of this inning, see if they can build on that.
Lauer steps in, 0 for 1 on the day. Gabe Dixon rocks and fires, and pitch on the outside corner, swing and a miss by Lauer. He will not watch many pitches go by. He is an aggressive hitter, and he misses there for an 0-1 count now. Dixon readies and fires. And Lauer will ground it to shortstop. Chalman charges in, gloves it, throws to Brady. And the 6-3 put out. As the first base coach starts the yelling at the, feeling like Brady stepped off. Daniel did a good job of stretching out there. Great play by Nick to charge. Like you said, the ball is being absorbed by this fielding surface. You've got to play up. You've got to charge in, and get, Nick did a great job there, gloving it on the run, making the throw to Brady for the 6-3 putout.
Those are adjustments that should have been made by now. We learned that for these last 2 games, Wally. Right now, if the coaching staff is not telling their and they themselves need to recognize that, and they need to be playing more shallow. That ball is getting eaten up, and it looks like now we have a challenge here by the Yoakum Bulldogs on that last play. I think they're going to say that Daniel Brady came off the bag there on that play. They're going to look for an appeal here. I'm not sure that it'll be helpful, but you never know.
So Coach Sainz comes all the way from the third base box, goes over to the first base umpire, asking for assistance on the play at first base, who was standing right next to the play. Pointed to the bag immediately when Daniel made the stretch. The out is called after the conference, and it still stands 6-3 in the book for the first out of the inning. Lauer grounds out, and that brings up the first baseman, Connor Zaruba, the freshman. He struck out looking in the top of the first in his first at bat, so he steps in here in the third inning, 0 for 1 on the day. Gabe Dixon from the windup, and the rock and fire. Pitch low and outside for ball 1 to Zaruba.
Zaruba with a really, really good series so far, batting .323 with 31 hits. Could have arguably been the player of the game yesterday.
Breaking pitch. Called a strike. Zaruba not swinging there. It brings the count even. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Zaruba back in. Dixon from the windup. The breaking pitch on the outside corner. Strike 2. Great job by Dixon. Going away from Zaruba there. And Zaruba not pulling the trigger on that outside curveball, and he's taking 2 for a strike now.
Well, if you're taking notes from Packabush, you just keep throwing that stuff soft and keep him off balance.
Zaruba makes contact, but he drives it up and to the right out of the park to stay alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another breaking pitch by Dixon there. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Zaruba steps in, and he drives one to Chalman. The 1 hopper. Chalman fields it, makes the throw over to Daniel Brady. 6-3 on the putout in the book if you're scoring at home. And that's 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 3rd for the Bulldogs. And that'll bring up the pitcher, number 10, Staten Packabush.
Now batting pitcher number 10.
So you're facing Packabush in the best possible situation with nobody on base. Again, their offensive leader. So let's see what Gabe does and how he's going to work him this time up.
Packabush grounded to Chalman in the 1st inning. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Sees a high outside pitch for ball 1. Packabush, a good, strong hitter for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, ridiculous. These are video game numbers here. Batting .418 on the season.
Steps back in. Dixon rocks and fires. And he'll drive it out to right field. Huell on the run in will make the catch. And that's a quick 3 outs. 3 up, 3 down here in the bottom of the 3rd for the Gateway Gators. Great job of pitching there by Gabe Dixon.
Just what the doctor ordered. Keep the momentum. The Gators do there with the quick inning with the top of their order. So interesting. Bottom of the order is hurting you. Top of the order is not. Let's see if the Gators can keep that momentum and pile it on here.
We'll take a quick break here on SHN Sports. Be back with the top of the 4th here in Gator Baseball. Welcome back to SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator Baseball here in LaGrange, Texas. Wally Harmon along with Efren Sanchez. Efren, we go to the top of the 4th. First off, thanks to Rob Hipp and SHN Sports for the opportunity to broadcast Gateway Gator playoff baseball here. Thanks especially to KC Bumpus, the realtor for Best of Wilco Realty and Keller Williams, and to Stephen Behill and the family for their support, and amongst the other family and friends of the Gateway Gators. We go to the top of the 4th. The leadoff hitter here will be the designated hitter, Jack Bumpus. He steps in from the left side, takes the first pitch for a strike on the outside corner from Packabush.
Yeah, young Jack Bumpus on the season, 5 hits, but most of those hits coming here towards the end of the season, so he's warming up right at the right time, Wally.
Bumpus steps back in, 0-1 on the day. Takes a big cut and a swing and a miss at the curveball from Packabush. And it's an 0-2 count early, quickly here on Jack Bumpus.
Very effective Packabush has been with that curveball.
The Gators have got to change the tide of their swinging here. It looks like a bunch of big swings and no one really breaking down to catch that curveball and drive it. No balls, 2 strikes here to Bumpus as he settles in. And a high heater out of the zone for ball 1 against Bumpus. Something different there from Packabush. Gives you something to think about as the hitter. Yeah, is he coming fastball now? Now what's he going to do? Where's he going? And Packabush has done a good job at keeping him off balance. Bumpus back in from the left side, open stance. Bat on the shoulder, waiting for Packabush, and he delivers. And it's a curveball driven to the second baseman. Gordon will charge, make a little flip sidearm to Zaruba at first. 4-3 on the putout for the first out of the inning here in the top of the 4th for the Gateway Gators.
Yep, continuing to go back to the well. But hey, you're going to ride that horse until it's dead, right, Wally? I mean, he's getting a lot of productive outs here with that breaking pitch, and the Gators still not able to make that adjustment.
Thomas Huell steps in. He struck out looking the first at bat. Comes in 0 for 1 here on the day. From the right side, Huell readies. Packabush delivers, and it's a breaking pitch for strike one.
That time he was able to throw that breaking pitch in there for a strike, but it was on the inside corner, so just a beautifully executed pitch.
20 to 25% of those curveballs are coming in for strikes. The rest of them, the Gateway Gators seem to be chasing out of the zone. High heater for ball one there. Huell lays off. But Packabush doing his job. An effective outing here for the catcher as he steps on the mound in this big game for the Bulldogs. Huell readies. Packabush from the windup and delivers. High heater. About a letter high, and Huell swing and a miss. Strike two.
Thomas Huell was known for being aggressive in the box. That time his aggression works against him. Swinging at a pitch outside the strike zone, like you said, high, almost by his chin.
Packabush peers over the glove. Garvin taking his time, figuring out the signals, and gives them to Packabush. And he'll start the windup. And it's a high heater for ball two. Huell lays off that one to even up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the fourth. Gators trailing 2-1 to the Yoakum Bulldogs. 2 runs in the second inning for the Bulldogs. 1 run pushed across in the top of the third for the Gators. Packabush with a curveball fouled off by Huell to stay alive off the knee of leg of Garvin. Shoots over to the first base dugout. So Huell battles to stay alive here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good job there of seeing that curveball and at least getting a piece to stay alive.
Well, he stood back a little bit there and was able to fight it off. Thomas does well to follow that same instruction.
He's choked up on the bat. You can see he's changing that swing, shortening it up here. Packabush from the windup, and he rocks and fires. Another breaking pitch, and a swing and a miss from Huell. And that'll be another strikeout in the books for Packabush and the Bulldogs. 2 outs here now in the top of the fourth. That'll bring up Daniel Brady. In his first at bat, Brady went down swinging, chased the high heater for strike 3. So we'll see what he does here as he steps back in with 2 outs.
Yeah, let's see how the Gators make this adjustment against first time up Daniel swinging and missing. Let's see if he can make that adjustment.
Packabush rocks and fires. Fastball down the middle. Daniel Brady takes a strike. Falls behind 0-1 here.
Easier said than done, Wally, but in this situation, you just want to say, sit on a fastball, period, and it should give you better results, but a lot easier said than done from back here where we are.
Brady will call a timeout. Garvin, extremely slow, and I don't know if it's intentional or it's lack of experience. He was extremely slow in slowing down this game, taking a signal from the coach over at the dugout, looking at his wristband and getting a pitch and giving it to Packabush. And the hitters have got to see that and get comfortable in their situation. Breaking ball from Packabush, low for a ball.
Hey, and on that pitch that just came down the plate, again, that breaking ball in the dirt, Daniel almost offered but held up, so making an adjustment. Let's see if he can win this battle.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the fourth for the Gators. Daniel Brady at bat. Fastball in the outside corner, just a little bit outside. That'll bring the count 2 balls and 1 strike to Daniel Brady. Good job there laying off. Packabush kind of staring at the umpire, thinking that was a strike. Gathers himself back on the mound. Garvin with the pitch. And Packabush ready. Outside again. Just outside. Ball 3. And it's a 3-1 count now on Daniel Brady.
So Daniel needs to understand the situation here. 3-1. You have a couple of strikes to work with. If it's not right down the middle with that fastball that he has, you got to watch it and get on base and give Gabe Dixon a chance.
3-1 pitch right down the middle. And Daniel Brady has yet to swing in this at bat. He's worked the count full, 3-2. You knew that fastball had to be coming there, and now it makes you wonder. Now Packabush is back in control.
Yep.
He's not afraid to throw this curveball at any count. And he throws a fastball. Brady takes a cut, fouls it off, back out of the play on the right side to stay alive. 3 balls, 2 strikes now on Brady. I was surprised to see that fastball. Packabush has thrown it on 0-0 count.
That's what you call a mistake pitch there in that situation. Daniel Brady, unfortunately, not able to capitalize.
High heater for ball 4. Good job by Daniel Brady. He takes ball 4. And he'll go down to first base to give the Gators a runner here with 2 outs in the top of the first. What an at-bat there. He kind of didn't know where it was going to go. It didn't seem like he was comfortable in the box. It didn't seem like his approach was any different. Packabush went away from the curveball, and Daniel Brady threw a lot of fastballs for balls.
Well, and good for Daniel Brady to recognize that. I mean,
absolutely.
That's what these Gators have to do in this game to turn things around, is they have to have the discipline to stay off of that breaking pitch.
Dixon steps in. He'll ground the ball foul off of himself in the batter's box. Dead ball for an 0-1 count. An argument coming out of the third base dugout again as the backup umpiring crew of Dad standing behind the dugout for Yoakum, yelling at the umpire. It was clearly a foul ball by Dixon. Hit him in the box for a foul ball.
The gang of dads didn't like that call over there behind the dugout. Gabe Dixon says, I have a bruise to show for it. But here comes the 0-1 pitch to Gabe.
Gabe pops it up on the infield. Brady takes off running with 2 outs. Zaruba fields it in fair territory, makes the catch on the first base line. And that'll be the 3rd out of the inning here in the top of the 4th. The Gators go 4 up, 3 down. And still trailing the ball game 2-1. We'll take a quick break on SHN Sports. Be back with the bottom of the 4th after this.
Honey, isn't it amazing?
What?
The sacrifice, the dedication, the grit. I mean, they really set an example, don't they?
Oh, well, no question. Today's high school athletes are truly special.
Not the athletes.
Well, who?
The officials.
Oh.
Today's student athletes are truly special. But there's something pretty great about the men and women who officiate their games, too. Like the way they're giving back to their communities. Officiating is a terrific way to stay in shape, meet new people, and stay connected to the game you love. But the biggest reason of all? We need more qualified high school officials here in Texas. And without them, the rest of us would have a whole lot less to cheer about. High school games need officials. High school sports need you.
Great call, Ralph.
Yeah.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
Welcome back to LaGrange, Texas, on the campus of LaGrange High School, home of the Fighting Leopards. SHN Sports presentation of Gateway Gator Baseball. We're in the deciding Game 3 of the regional quarterfinals between the Gateway Gators and the Yoakum Bulldogs. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Yoakum comes up to bat, leading 2-1 in the ballgame. The box score 1-3-0. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Gators. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 0 errors for the Bulldogs. The damage was done in the 2nd inning by the Bulldogs, Efren, by this batter starting it off. In the bottom part of the lineup, 4 through 9, pushed across, 2 runs, and it started with Hagan Garvin, and he leads off here 1 for 1 in the ballgame for the Bulldogs. He steps in from the right side. The pitch from Gabe Dixon on the outside for ball 1.
Gordon batting .259 on the season with 22 hits.
Garvin makes good contact and is a good hitter here for the Bulldogs. Second pitch on the outside corner is a strike. Evens out the count for Dixon on Garvin. Dixon, the left-handed pitcher from the windup. He rocks and fires. And Garvin will foul it off of the shin guard of Sawyer Scott for strike 2.
Yeah, good job of mixing things up there by Gabe, getting the swing and miss.
You know, it makes you wonder, the coaches from Gateway or Gabe, are they watching and seeing the effectiveness of the breaking pitch by Packabush and how our hitters seem to be off balance, and maybe we go with that approach, something a little different, change up the scenery. This Gabe Dixon fires a high fastball for ball 2. 2-2 count here. Oh, no outs, no runner. Got to update. Sorry about that. Dixon fires, and Garvin shoots it out to right field. Fly ball. Thomas Schule settles under it, makes the catch. Epps 9 in the book. And the Gators record the first out of the inning on the Bulldogs of Garvin. And that'll bring up the left fielder now. Or, I'm sorry, the second baseman, Gordon. Gordon will step up for the second time. He singled on an infield bunt in the first inning, or in the first at bat. So he's 1 for 1. He takes a strike down the middle from Gabe Dixon. And 0-1 count here to Gordon. And he swings at a breaking pitch. Harmon charges in. He's going to have to barehand and make a throw. No play. That's a gross infield single there by Gordon. Bites off the curveball right past Dixon. Dixon not falling off the mound hard, and he watched the ball go. Harmon comes from deep at second base, has to charge, barehands it, but can't even make a throw there. Gordon's down the line and on the base.
Well, and sounding like a broken record now, Wally, but you put the ball in play on this grass and the ball just dies. Hard for these infielders to make that adjustment, especially if they're playing at regular depth.
First pitch to Sanchez.
Just foul.
Sends
That
it
was
down
scary.
the right field line. Little Texas leaguer, but it drops foul for an 0-1 count. So good job there. Nice break for like you said, the ball finally bounced the way of the Gators there. That would have been dangerous for Sanchez. But he starts out now. No balls, 1 strike. Pitch on the outside corner. Just a bit outside for the umpire's liking. And it evens the count out, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th for the Bulldogs. Gordon leads off. Breaking pitch. Swing and a miss by Sanchez. Nice pitch by Dixon.
Yeah. As you just mentioned, Wally, Gabe Dixon giving the Bulldogs a little taste of their own medicine with the nasty breaking ball in the dirt.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Nice breaking pitch by Dixon. Now what does he do here? Gordon steps off first. Dixon. Fouls it off. Still in the box area. Sawyer Scott grabs it quickly, and it's called a foul ball. So it keeps the at-bat alive for Sanchez. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Sanchez 1 for 1. He bunted perfectly down the third baseline. Ball shot back at the pitcher. Dixon fields it, goes to make a play, and he drops the ball. Throws to first base, and it'll be an error on the pitcher, Gabe Dixon. Could look like he had the perfect opportunity to turn a double play. It's ruled an error, and now the Bulldogs working again with 2 runners on and 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Beginning to be a theme here in this series against these Bulldogs. Just a little play here, a little play there. Tailor-made double play there for Dixon. All he has to do is field the ball, turn around, and that's an easy double play to get out of the jam. Instead, Gabe bobbles it on the exchange, not able to get rid of it, throws to first base way too late, and so now the Bulldogs again threatening here with 2 runners on and only 1 out.
Kevin Kaliba steps in. He reached on a fielder's choice in his last at-bat. Takes the first pitch. Low for a ball. Sawyer Scott will take a timeout here. Go out to the mound and visit with Dixon. Right there in that play, Dixon fields the ball cleanly. Is it the concentration level? We're not sold in and play.
Well, I think the way that we say it in baseball, Wally, is ball first.
Yeah.
You got to catch the ball first before you start thinking about your pivot. And I know what he's thinking. He's thinking all this in the matter of a split second, but you just got to be able to settle down here. But give it to Yoakum. They've been putting the pressure on him. Kevin
Kaliba fouls the ball off back to the right side out of play for a strike. Evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kaliba 0 for 1 on the day. Kevin Kaliba, that is. The right fielder, number 2. Fielder's choice in the second, all-important second inning for the Bulldogs, where they pushed across 2 runs. He'll step back out. You got Gordon at second base for the Bulldogs. You have Sanchez on first base, reached on the air. And now Kevin Kaliba steps in.
Looks like some confusion here between Sawyer Scott and Gabe Dixon on the pitch calling here, so testy situation.
Breaking pitch to Kevin Kaliba.
And what'd you see there, Wally? A breaking pitch that's probably not a strike, but Kaliba doing what? Wasting a pitch, putting it in play, not having a home run swing.
Exactly. Cut it down, made good contact. Just Gators get the bounce. He was just behind it, drove it down, foul in front of the first base dugout. Gabe Dixon ahead now in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 runners on for the Bulldogs. And the pitch low and in the dirt, blocked by Sawyer Scott. Evens the count out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On Kevin Kaliba, the right fielder for the Bulldogs. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th, 2-1 score. Bulldogs leading it here in the game 3 of this regional quarterfinal series. Gordon leads off second. Sanchez off first. Dixon releases a little early, throws the ball outside. Sawyer Scott goes and grabs it. And that brings up a full count now on Kevin Kaliba.
Yeah, that pitch nowhere close. Gabe's delivery bounding off of the plate there. Now we have a full count with only 1 out. Let's see if he can get himself a hard hit ground ball, which has been hard to come by here.
And it's ball 4. And that's a walk. That'll load the bases for the Bulldogs. And that'll bring up Kyle Kaliba, the Kaliba brother. He's playing third base, number 12. He grounded out to Nick Chalman in the second inning. 0 for 1 on the day. Bases full again, 1 out. Dixon fires. Curveball outside for a ball. Ball's behind Kyle Kaliba now, 1-0. Gators got to settle in here. Not let the Bulldogs continue the momentum. Kyle Kaliba drives one out, right center field. Barlin chases it down, and it's off his glove into deep right field. Barlin will throw it back in. That's going to score 2 runs for the Bulldogs, and it'll hold runners at first and second. But an E8 is going to cost the the Gators 2 more runs, and it's now a 4-1 ball game. They're going to give a hit there to Kaliba. I will not. That is an error. Chris Barlin ran that ball down. It hit in his glove and bounced out. A play that's got to be made there by the center fielder.
Yeah, tough play, but pretty routine play there, Wally. Unfortunately for the Gators, this Yoakum Bulldog team just has a lot of fight, and they're well disciplined. They put a lot of balls in play. That one should have been a caught ball, but Chris not able to come up with it. Results in 2 runs here, 2 unearned runs is the part that you don't like about that statement, but 4-1, and that'll allow Carter Parsons to come in and see if he can stop the bleeding here in a very, very tenuous situation that the Gators find themselves in here in LaGrange, Texas.
So we'll reset. You've got a runner at second base in Kevin Kaliba. You've got a runner at first base in Kyle Kaliba. You have 1 out. The fly out by Garvin to start the inning. The bottom of the order for this Bulldog team is doing the destruction today. You've got 1, 2, and 3 that have gone 0 for 6 for this Bulldog team. And you've got 4 through 9 who have done all the damage.
Well,
4 hits, 4 runs.
And that's a testament to the coaching staff here. I mean, this is a well-coached team. They know the name of the game. Put the ball in play and see what happens. And they're testing the Gator defense, and so far, Gator defense has not been up to the task.
So Carter Parsons will come into the ballgame to pitch again for the Gators. He'll come in for Daniel Brady. Brady will leave the game, and Gabe Dixon will now move over to first base. Parsons comes in, the senior pitcher, in relief again. He did last night. Got the Gators out of trouble there in the bottom of the 6th. So nothing new to Carter to come in now when the team's in trouble and try to make some changes here and change the fortunes for the Gators. Stepping in against Parsons will be the number 9 hitter, Travis Stansberry. Struck out looking in his first at bat to end that second inning. So it's going to be important now for Carter to go after Stansberry, because right after Stansberry, you'll bring up the top of the lineup. That can be dangerous. Hasn't today so far, but can be dangerous for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, but how many times are you going to want to play with fire here, Wally? So, yeah, very important that Carter attack this 9-hole hitter here for the Bulldogs.
So Carter Parsons' warm-ups are complete. He'll step in. Kevin Kaliba at second base for the Bulldogs. Kyle Kaliba at first base. 1 out. Travis Stansberry steps in, the number 9-hole hitter, the center fielder for the Bulldogs. Parsons from the stretch. First pitch. Outside for ball 1. One thing about Parsons, he is an off-speed pitcher. Has a lot of different speed changes, breaking balls. So we'll see how that affects the Bulldog hitters' comparative. Next pitch, outside corner for strike 1. Stansberry taking a strike there, it looked like, to see where Parsons was as he delivered.
Yeah, so quickly here we're starting to see Carter's repertoire. Nice breaking ball and then a hard fastball on the outside corner. It's a good sequence so far.
Next pitch, a breaking pitch, driven to left field in front of Aaron Werchen. 2-bouncer. Werchen misplays it. The runner, Kevin Kaliba, luckily missed third base. Had to go back and touch, and so he'll only advance to third. But a base hit by Stansberry in the 9-hole.
And that bottom of the Yoakum Bulldog order continues to punish the Gateway Gator pitching staff.
So that'll bring up the top of the lineup with the bases loaded and 1 out. It's a 4-1 score here in the bottom of the 4th. Carter Parsons will face Holden Lauer, the senior shortstop for the Bulldogs. 0 for 2 so far on the day. First pitch, and he takes a cut at it, drives it to right field. It's going to be past Thomas Huell. It's going to go down the line. Almost to the wall. It's going to hit the wall. Huell can't field it. 3 runs are going to come across. Lauer with a stand-up triple. And Gateway is getting it poured on him. Lauer, like you said, how long are you going to hold the top of the lineup down? I'm going to go with not any further. Lauer just emptied the bases with a triple. And now some controversy here as Coach Signs and the umpire at third. And something happened between Lauer and Sanchez at third base for the Gators. Coach Gomert steps out of the... Lauer now taunting the Gators, giving the old Gator chop. It's quickly turning into kind of embarrassing there for Lauer to turn to tactics like that. They're up 7-1 here in the bottom of the fourth. Hate to see that out of a high school kid. Now the umpire's going to give a warning to the dugout for the Bulldogs. He's had enough of hearing that. Not sure what all's being said. We can't hear it up here, Efren.
Yeah, I missed it. I was looking down here at my scorebook, Wally, but something happened in there between Sanchez and Lauer at third base. EJ, a very even-keeled, even-tempered player. It had to have been something egregious for him to get fired up like that.
3 runs across on the triple by Lauer. He sits at third base with 1 out. Brings up Zaruba, the second hitter. And he'll take a hit by pitch and go down to first base. So it seems to all be falling apart here for the Gators. They've got to close it back down. Try to stay collected. Coach Gomert steps out of the dugout. Talks to his team. This will bring up Packabush with runners on the corners. 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. 7-1. The Gators find themselves down. Parsons from the stretch. Zaruba takes the lead off first. He'll not go. High and inside. Ball 1 against Packabush. Packabush gathers back in the box. Parsons comes set from the stretch. Zaruba leads off first. Held on by Dixon there. He'll take off on the pitch. Throw down. Cut off by Simeon Harmon to keep Lauer at third. So you got a runners at second and third now. Good jump there by Zaruba. Gets down to second. And 2-0 count now. That pitch called a ball on Packabush. So 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. 7-1. Bulldogs lead it with the runners on second and third. Packabush is going to hit it to left field. It's going to be down in front of Aaron Werch, and it's a base hit. He'll field it. Zaruba circled. He's running. He's coming home. Here comes the throw. Not in time. And a 2-run single by Packabush has blown it open now, 9-1. Here in the bottom of the fourth, and that'll bring out Gomer to the mound for the Gators. It seems to be falling apart, Efren. The Yoakum Bulldogs just attacking.
This one getting away from the Gators here in a hurry, but really the pressure, the force coming from the Bulldogs really all day long so far. From the beginning, they've put pressure on this Gator pitching staff. It started with small ball, and then they just opened it up here. But the Yoakum Bulldogs, just too much execution for this Gator pitching staff. They put the ball in play. They've been more aggressive, and they've just put it on the Gators here.
The senior Carter Parsons is coming out of the ball game. That'll be his last stint here. If the Gators don't advance, that will be his last action in high school baseball. So Carter has been replaced by number 9, Cole Johnson. Cole Johnson will step in with a runner on first base in Packabush. 9-1 the score on the board. What a rough inning here. I tell you what, a scrappy when we described it in game 1. A 6-1 win really meant nothing because this team has not quit fighting. The Yoakum Bulldogs have been impressive. The 20-11-2 record shows nothing about the fighting that this team puts up. It's impressive.
Well, it started out as scrappy and has turned into ferocious here real quick, Wally. Maybe the Gator pitching staff didn't execute a couple pitches here and there, but just from the beginning, the Yoakum Bulldogs have just had more energy, more momentum, and just have really took it to the Gators.
And you're going to see it. You look at the heads and the body posture of the Gators. They watch Cole Johnson warm up. Players with hands on their hips, standing around, squatting down. Just you can see the life has been sucked out of them, and yet the life has just been blown into the hearts and the the bodies of the Bulldogs.
And this is a game where what you have to do is you have to tip your cap, Wally, and say the Yoakum Bulldogs have took it out of them. I mean, they have put the plays on. They have executed the plays, and guess what? Your defense gets tired of having to make a play on every pitch, and that's exactly what's happened here. They have worn out the Gators here in pretty much every inning.
And so here we go. We'll reset now as Cole Johnson finishes his warm-up. It's a 9-1 ball game. The Yoakum Bulldogs have scored 7 runs here in the fourth. They have batted around to Garvin. He bats for the second time in the inning. He flew out for the only out of the inning so far to the right fielder. Sees the first pitch from Johnson, and he fouls it off back off behind home plate, out of play for an 0-1 count. And he'll settle back in. Garvin, the catcher today. Back in the box. Johnson set. Packabush leads off first. And a breaking pitch driven up the middle. Cole Johnson will field it. He'll throw to second base. No. He'll lob it over to first for the out. Middle infield not ready for that. Cole Johnson fielded it. No way to turn the double play when you're I assume there that Chalman's covering with the flow up, but not sure.
Well, in that situation, that was a right-handed hitter, so the second baseman's got to be covering there.
And neither of them were at the bag. They both
kind of a microcosm of what's been going on today, Wally. Just fundamental baseball.
So Garvin records his second out of the inning at bat as he grounds out to Cole Johnson for the 1-3 putout. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Garvin. That'll bring up the next hitter, the second baseman, Gordon. Gordon had a single. Gordon's 2 hits so far in the ballgame have not equivalated to 90 feet of baseball. He's bunted down the first base line and hit a dribbler in the grass to second base, but yet effective every time. He grounds here to second baseman. Harmon scoops it, throws the first for the putout, 4-3. And we're finally out of this fourth inning. It's 9-1. And we'll take a break. Be back here for the fifth inning on SHN Sports. Welcome back to SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator Baseball. I'm Wally Harmon along with Efren Sanchez as we go to the fifth inning. Efren, 9-1. The Yoakum Bulldogs lead the Gators. And the Gators come up now with a 1-2-3 holes up, due up. Here in the top of the fifth, Chris Barlin steps in against Packabush, who has been pitching well for the Yoakum Bulldogs. First pitch down the pipe for a strike. Taken all the way was Barlin. It'll be an 0-1 count now.
Well, the bad news is we're down 9-1. The good news is we've got 9 outs to work with, Wally.
Chris Barlin steps in, 1 for 2 on the ball game. Next pitch on the outside corner, but a ball. A little bit outside of the umpire. You see him, he fanned it away for ball 1. Nice pitch there by Packabush, attacking that corner there. You got one person up, throwing in the Bulldog bullpen, number 5, David Perez. Packabush fires, and it's hit back up the middle by Barlin, fielded by Lauer. He'll throw to first, but it'll draw the first baseman off. That'll be an E6 as Barlin motors down. And Bud gets on base, an important runner to lead off the top of the fifth here for the Gators.
Well, and what you want to see here is you want to see the Gators put up a fight. I mean, there's pride on the line here. This is a proud program, and you want to see them counterpunch here in this situation. Good job of Chris hitting that one right back up the middle. Shortstop ranges over on top of the bag, just throws high, but now the Gators have something cooking here in the top of the fifth inning.
Simeon Harmon, the second baseman, steps in, 1 for 2 on the day. Barlin at first. Pitch outside for ball 1. So far, Efren, You're up 9-1. Packabush steps on the mound and has yet to throw a breaking pitch in this inning, but yet has dominated the game with him. Kind of surprising. You figured he would just try to go for the throat here, but has changed it up a little bit. Next pitch, a fastball. Harmon punches it up in the air down the first base line, but it'll be out of play over the first base dugout towards the concessions. And he stays alive. 1-1 now. Count now on Harmon.
Yeah, and that might work to the detriment of the Bulldog starter here. No need to be aggressive. He's pitching with the lead. What has worked so far is that breaking pitch, so you wouldn't think that the doctor's prescribing many fastballs here in this situation.
A 1-1 count to Harmon. And there's the first breaking pitch of the inning. 5 pitches in, and it's a ball off the outside corner. So it'll be 2 balls, 1 strike to Harmon here in the top of the 5th inning here for the Bulldogs. 1 runner on. Chris Barlin at first base being held on by Zaruba. Packabush from the stretch, and he'll fire inside for ball 3. Fastball.
We need a lot of base runners here, Wally. See if Simeon can coax a walk and get another base runner on. Get something cooking.
See some pitches here, make things happen, and get some base runners. Exactly, Efren. Harmon sees a 3-1 count now. Barlin leads off at first base. Packabush delivers. Harmon drives it to third baseman. Kyle Kaliba fields it, throws it second high. He'll get back down on the bag for the put out at second base. Great play by the second baseman Gordon to catch that ball, elevated above the bag and came back down on the bag to force out Barlin. And Harmon reaches on the fielder's choice, but still 1 out now in the top of the 5th for the Gators. Harmon now at first base and brings up Nick Chalman.
Yeah, Nick Chalman earlier in this game came up with the situation, I think, with the bases loaded, right, Wally, and struck out on 3 breaking balls. So let's see if Packabush has a good memory and remembers how he got Nick here.
Harmon at first base, 1 out. And the first pitch is a breaking pitch, called a strike on Chalman. Looks like the catcher caught the ball on the plate. But nonetheless, Nick not swinging there, takes the pitch for a strike. An 0-1 count to Chalman. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Fastball. Chalman takes a hack at it, drives it down the right field line. Kevin Kaliba takes a run at it, but it's out of play into the bullpen. And now Chalman finds himself down again, 0-2 in this at-bat. So far today, Chalman 1 for 2. Single in the first inning, struck out swinging in the 3rd. Good spot here for Chalman. Needs some good contact. Last night he delivered some key at-bats. See what he can do here. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Breaking pitch, and Chalman drives it, and it's breaking away from the center fielder into the gap. And that's away from Stansberry. Harmon's going to circle second. He's going to third. The throw comes in, and he's going to be safe at third. He gets away from Kaliba. What a job there by Chalman as he gets the double to left center field. And, man, Chalman hit that ball, and it looked like it was taken off to Stansberry.
Well, the wind is going right to left, so it carried that pitch away from the center fielder, allowing it to get down. And so now Nick Chalman with the well-needed double there. Simeon at third base, and now E.J. Sanchez with an opportunity to climb back into this contest.
Great job by Chalman. We asked for it, and he delivered. We thank him personally. What a hit there, a double, and he was out of the box flying. Stansberry made every attempt he could, but that ball just kept bending right to the thing. You got the left fielder playing a lot down the line, so the gap in left center was pretty big, and Chalman went and found it. First pitch to Sanchez, inside corner, is called a strike. So an 0-1 count here to EJ as he battles in the top of the 5th. 1 out, runners on second and third for the Gators. Sanchez so far 0 for 1 with a walk. Steps back in an 0-1 count and a breaking pitch. He's going to dribble it out to shortstop, bounding ground ball. Lauer's going to field another high throw out and away from the first baseman. Sanchez will stay on first. That'll score 2 runs. So Sanchez reaches on the E6. Lauer didn't look like he put much behind that. Just lobbed it over to first, and it was well over the head of Zaruba, the shorter first baseman. That's going to cost the Bulldogs 2 runs here.
And more of the same there, Wally, because that ball was not hit hard. He just put it in play and let the grass eat it. It makes that defender charge and forces him to make a hurried throw. That's happened to the Gators all day long. Now it's happening to the Bulldogs, and the Gators here get another couple of runs on the E.J. Sanchez dribbler.
And so E.J. Sanchez is at first. 1 out. That'll bring up Sawyer Scott, the catcher. Sawyer 0-2 on the day with a line out to the third baseman and a strikeout swinging in the last at bat. First pitch, a breaking pitch for a strike. Nice pitch by Packabush there. He works ahead of Sawyer Scott. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 5th. The Gators have pushed 2 across to cut the score to 9-3. Sawyer steps in here. Same thing we could use from him is some good contact like Chalman. Next pitch on the outside corner. Called a strike. Sawyer Scott not swinging. And he falls behind. No balls, 2 strikes. In this at bat to Packabush. Sanchez leads off first base, being held on by Zaruba. Garvin with the research on the band for the pitch, and now signals given. Packabush comes set. He delivers. Sawyer Scott bows it off to the third base dugout.
And you're wondering why he went fastball there and even is messing with that. That curveball has struck out Sawyer already today. Not sure if that was a mistake and Sawyer able to put the bat on it, but we'll see what he throws here. 0-2. I know what I would throw. 0-2.
Absolutely. Sawyer Scott's got to shorten that swing now. Got to be prepared for that off speed. Sanchez leads off first. EJ being held on by Zaruba. Packabush gets set and delivers. Curveball up and in for ball 1. He did go back to the curveball. Just missed there. Sawyer Scott lays off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And it makes you wonder. The coaches are calling the pitches. It's very obvious for the Bulldogs. The coach at the end of the dugout here is sitting there giving the signals to Garvin. He goes to the wristband, and so they're being called from the dugout. And it makes you wonder why the changes would be being made. Curveball again. Sawyer Scott drives it down third base. It's off the glove of Kyle Kaliba. That's going to be a base hit there for Sawyer Scott. An infield single. Kaliba tried to backhand. That's all he could do on that hard shot by Scott. That gets Sanchez to second. And so now we've got runners on first and second with 1 out and some more cooking going on for the Gators.
And I think that Kaliba's playing out of position, if I'm not mistaken there, Wally. They're having to put him there because Packabush is having to pitch. So this game 3 just forcing the issue here as far as roster moves for the Bulldogs, and that way you could see on that play that he's a little bit out of position, not able to make the play, but that allows Sawyer Scott to get over to first base. EJ Sanchez at second base now with 1 out here, still in the top of the 5th inning.
Not sure what the board gave there. Now there's 2 errors. I had an error earlier on Barlin's base shot to short. The throw drew the player off. I thought he had him on a good throw. Right there, the third baseman is playing in. Like you said, Kyle Kaliba playing in a little bit and didn't have a chance to react other than a backhand and couldn't build it. Hit, error. I've got it down as a hit here for Sawyer Scott.
Yeah,
nonetheless,
I'd have it as a single.
It's a base runner. 2 runners on now, and it brings up Jack Bumpus, the lefty. So far, Bumpus 0 for 2 on the day. Steps in for the left side. 1 out here in the top of the 6th, 9-3 score. Bumpus sees a pitch on the outside corner. Called a strike. He falls behind 0-1 to start the at-bat. Popped out to the shortstop Lauer just beside the pitcher's mound in the first inning. Grounded out to the second baseman in his last at-bat. Steps in here and needs some contact from Jack. Got the runners on. EJ at second. And a swing and a miss by Bumpus. Fastball. And blew it by 0-2 count now.
So now Jack does well to battle here and put something in play. A little ground ball can scoot 2 guys over into scoring position for Thomas Houle waiting on deck, Wally. So contact here is going to be the name of the game. Let's see if Jack can get it done.
Bumpus steps back in, down 0-2 in the count. Breaking pitch. Bumpus is going to fly it out to right field. Kevin Kaliba is going to catch it. Sanchez is going to take it second. The throw coming across to third base. Kevin Kaliba can't field it. Not going to have him. But no one covered second base, and Jackson Bowman, the courtesy runner, advances to second. Great heads-up play by Jackson Bowman there to see the mistake. I think you're right, Efren. Kyle Kaliba is not comfortable over there. It doesn't appear. He's not in his normal position. He's filling in because of Garvin. Nothing has made me believe he wants to be there.
Well, and let's give some credit here to Jack Bumpus putting that ball in play with 2 strikes on him. Gets the sacrifice fly. EJ able to go from second to third. And then on the throw, a very alert Jackson Bowman goes to second. So now 2 runners in scoring position for Thomas Houle.
Houle so far has struck out twice.
Oh, we got a balk.
And a balk call on Packabush, and that'll push another run across. So that will bring EJ Sanchez into the plate. That will move Jackson Bowman up 90 feet to third base. And it cuts the lead to 5 now. 9-4, your score. Thomas Houle batting here. Takes a breaking pitch in there for a strike. Nice pitch by Packabush to gather himself and fire it in there.
So Thomas Houle here with the base hit can bring this thing now to 4 runs.
Thomas Yule steps in. So far, he struck out looking and struck out swinging, and it's 2 at-bats. 0 for 2 today. Next pitch is down. He drives it down to the shortstop. Lauer fields it. He'll throw to first and get the play. 6-3 on the putout. That'll be the 3rd out of the inning. And the Gators are down in the 5th. But they push across 3 runs, cut the lead to 5. It's a 9-4 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Here in a second on SHN Sports. To SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator baseball. We move to the bottom of the 5th. 9-4, the Yoakum Bulldogs lead this one. Gateway came back for 3 runs there in the top of the 5th inning. And now Cole Johnson back on the mound for the Gators. First pitch is a ball. We come up with the 6, 7, and 8 hitters here for the Bulldogs. Leading off will be the left fielder Sanchez. And he'll see the second pitch in the dirt.
Well, good job there by the Gators in the top of the 5th inning. They're counterpunching, showing some pride, battling, putting some balls in play, and making this a ball game now. 9-4, only a 5-run deficit now for the Gators. Let's see if Cole can make quick work here of the Bulldogs.
2 balls, no strikes to Sanchez. Johnson fires one in the middle. Sanchez takes a hack at it through the middle. Chalman on the run, fields it, throws the first, and the 6-3 putout. Great job by Chalman there to come in and record the out. What a play there by Chalman.
That was a tough play. I mean, again, when that ball, it looks like it's coming at you hard, and then it slows down in a hurry, so the infielders having to make that adjustment and get rid of the ball really fast. Fortunately for the Gators, Nick Chalman, with one of the fastest exchanges you'll ever see from an infielder, gets rid of it and records the out.
First time that Sanchez had been recorded out in the book today at bat.
Hey, that's a good omen, Wally. We'll take that.
And a foul ball here by Kevin Kaliba. Fouls off the first pitch from Cole Johnson. And so far, Epron, the 7, 8, and 9, or the 6, 7, and 8 hitters have only been out at bat one time out of their 9 at bats so far.
That's going to change right here, Wally.
Absolutely.
Cole Johnson's going to make sure that doesn't happen.
Kevin Kaliba steps in. No balls, 1 strike. Swing and a miss. It's strike 2. Great pitch by Cole Johnson. Then in on the hands there of Kevin Kaliba, the right fielder, number 2. And so he'll step back in. Kaliba so far, Kevin Kaliba, is grounded into a fielder's choice, reached on base, and walked in his last at bat. He's 0 for 1. And he'll drive one to right field, center field. Varlin will come in on a trot, and then it bounces in front of him for a base hit. And Kaliba does his job to get on base there for the Bulldogs. Another hit from the bottom part of the lineup here for the Bulldogs. They will not stop fighting. So impressive. Coach Shines gives the signals out. Kyle Kaliba steps in, the third baseman. He grounded a Chalman in the first inning, his first at bat, and he reached on an error in the last at bat. on his shot to right center fielder. He will swing the bat. Kevin Kaliba leads off first. Johnson fires in.
So maybe the bottom of the order is not going to get extinguished here.
You know what, though? One
Wally.
pitch after the ground ball. We can turn 2 and get out of it.
Yep.
Something different. We've got to see something different. We've got to force them outs here. Not let them get the momentum going again. Pickoff attempt. Kevin Kaliba dives back in safe as Gabe Dixon applies the tag. And so Cole Johnson holding Kaliba close, not letting him get much of an advantage. Quick runner, Kaliba the right fielder. Kevin Kaliba the right fielder. Quick, gets a good lead there. Gabe Dixon holds him on. Kyle Kaliba stands in the bat, sees a pitch, swing and a miss. To even out the count now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th inning, 9-4. The Bulldogs lead it. The scoreboard shows 4 runs, 5 hits, 1 error by the Gators. 9 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors by the Bulldogs. And here we sit, bottom of the 5th, 1-1. The count to Kyle Kaliba. Kevin Kaliba leaves off first. Johnson fires. Kevin takes off. Sawyer Scott throws down. Harmon there, gets the tag on. And the ball gets past him. It skips there in the dirt underneath him. Barlin charging in. So
Wouldn't have had him anyway, Wally. He was there by a pretty good margin. Had a good jump, and then that pitch took a while to get to the plate. So results in the Kaliba there getting at second base, and now his brother at bat trying to get him home for another insurance run for these Bulldogs.
Kevin Kaliba with a stolen base. 2 balls, 1 strike to Kyle Kaliba. And Cole Johnson will make a move to second base. No throw. Kevin returns. And we reset. Kyle steps back into the box. Cole Johnson comes set in the stretch. He'll take a look at second. Kevin with not much of a lead off the base. And Johnson will fire home. Kyle fouls it out of play back to the right. And it evens the count out at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And worth repeating here, Wally. I mean, here you are, 9-4 lead, and Coach Science sending his runner, who really doesn't have to. I mean, you've got a comfortable lead, but still being aggressive and forcing the action.
Kevin leads off second base. Kyle settles in the box. Johnson takes his time, now delivers. Outside part of the plate, and Kyle fouls it off over to the first base on deck circle. To stay alive in the at bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 5th.
Good job battling, fighting off that breaking pitch there.
Great job by Kyle Kaliba. He has done a good job today at the plate battling. And he stays alive. 2-2, 1 out. Johnson set from the stretch. High kick and fires. And Kyle Kaliba fouls it back off down the right field line out of play to remain alive. Good job there by Kyle.
Kyle last time up with the crucial fly ball to right center field that Chris Varlin wasn't able to squeeze, and that ended up being a huge hit for the Bulldogs.
Kaliba steps back in. Kevin leads off a second. Johnson with the leg kick and delivers the breaking pitch. It's a little high. The Kaliba brothers total together don't equal 8 feet tall. They are both short in stature, but they are mighty in swinging that bat, and they have done a good job today. But Cole Johnson just a little bit high for them. A Peckabush, that's a strike, and Kaliba, it's not. The pitch in, and he'll smash it to left field, but Aaron Wertchen will range over to his left, make the catch for the second out of the inning, keeping Kevin Kaliba at second. And now 2 outs for the Bulldogs. A great play there by Aaron Wertchen. And the F7 in the book. And that'll bring up the 9-hole hitter, Travis Stansberry, who had a single in the last at-bat. Steps in here 1 for 2 on the day for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and let's see if Cole can right the ship here on the Titanic bottom of the Yoakum Bulldog order.
Kevin Kaliba gets the lead off at second base. Stansberry squats down in the box. Johnson fires in, and a called first strike. Nice pitch by Cole. I tell you what, several of these players are shorter players. Stansberry squats in his stance. A lot of reminiscence of the squat of Jeff Bagwell. And doesn't give you much of a target to throw at. Johnson fired a nice strike there. He worked ahead, no balls, 1 strike. Stansberry steps out of the box. I tell you what, right there, the umpire awarded it. Stansberry stepped out before he even called time. Surprisingly, the umpire awards that timeout. You got to be careful.
Usually you like to see that the other way around.
Johnson fires it on the outside corner. Strike 2. Stansberry not swinging. Nice pitch by Johnson to work away there from Stansberry. And he gets ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 9-4 score. The Bulldogs lead the Gators. Stansberry back in the box. Johnson set, looks at second, and he'll deliver home. And it's a high pass ball out of the zone for strike, ball 1.
Good pitch there by Cole. 0-2. No need to give him anything to hit there. Good job of Cole leaving it out of the zone and seeing if Stansberry would chase it there.
And you know Stansberry is not afraid to swing the bat. He makes contact. So a good pitch there. Change the eyesight there and where he's going to see the next one. Johnson comes back to the outside corner, just outside, and that'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Still not a bad pitch. Good job of Cole still pitching here in the bottom of the 5th inning and just being smart.
So here we go. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th, 9-4 score. Kevin Kaliba leads off second. Cole Johnson, high leg kick, delivers, and a swing and a miss by Stansberry, and that'll end the bottom of the 5th inning for the Bulldogs. They got no runs on a hit and left 1 man on there in the bottom of the 5th. That takes us to the top of the 6th, 9-4. The Bulldogs lead it with Gateway coming up. We'll take a quick break. Be back here on SHN Sports coverage of Gateway Gator Baseball in a minute. Welcome back to SHN Sports presentation of Gateway Gator Baseball. This broadcast brought to you in part by KC Bumpus, realtor with the best of Wilco team at Keller Williams Realty. Whether moving your family, investing in college, or selling your home, the Best of West team at Keller Williams is laser focused on your needs and goals, keeping the real estate process streamlined, professional, and drama-free. For the last 15 years, they've helped hundreds of clients buy, sell, and invest in real estate in Central Texas, and they look forward to building a successful relationship with you. For more information, you can go to www.bestofwilco.com or email KC Bumpus at kbumpus@kw.com, KBUMPAS@kw.com. And to the Behill family, Stephen, and the sponsorship from them to help out with Gator Baseball here on the presentation. We appreciate the Behill family, and thanks, Stephen, for reaching out to help out the Gators here.
Pitching change.
Peckabush was at 104 pitches in his cumulative between last night and tonight. So now we're going to bring in 25. Zaruba's going to come back on the mound. He pitched yesterday for the Bulldogs, and he'll come back here on the mound. The lefty from the windup will face the pitcher, Cole Johnson. First pitch up and out of the zone for a ball. Pardon me. Johnson lays off there. Top of the 6th, 9-4 your score. The Yoakum Bulldogs lead the Gateway Gators. Gateway down to their last 6 outs here. Last inning put up 3. Trying to battle back here in the 6th. Johnson takes the pitch low for ball 2.
And we've got a ball game here thanks to that last inning and the Gators showing some fight here. Cole Johnson does have some power, so if he can get a hold of one, you would think he'd have a good chance to put a base hit or a double here.
Zaruba fires, and it's going to be elevated for ball 3. So Zaruba works, falls behind 3-0 here on Cole Johnson, his counterpart in the ballgame, the pitcher.
Cole's got to know here that he's in a 3-0 count, and we need base runners, so you would hope that he's not swinging at anything here, maybe even for a couple of pitches.
And it's a high fastball out of the zone, and Cole Johnson does a great job there of walking. Draws the 4-pitch walk. Zaruba comes in and falls behind quickly and loses the first batter. Great job by Cole Johnson doing the job there. The base runners, ever important. And we'll have a courtesy runner at first base. That'll be number 15, Reese Peterson. He'll be running for Cole Johnson. That'll bring up the first baseman, number 2, Gabe Dixon. Dixon 0 for 2 today. Popped out to the first baseman.
He's due, Wally.
And he got reached on an error in the first inning on a swinging strikeout that Garvin couldn't handle. Zaruba pitches, and they pitch on the outside for ball 1. So quickly, 5 balls seen right away here by Zaruba, the starter from last night. And now you see a Bulldog get up and run down to the bullpen. Blake Carter, the junior right-hander for the Bulldogs, runs down to the bullpen to get warming up. Next pitch, high and outside. For ball 2 on the
lot of balls. A lot of balls here quickly for Zaruba, and as we say that, the drizzle starts to pick up here. So drizzle starting to come down here in LaGrange.
we're going to stay on as long as we can until the rain kind of gets us. We've backed up under the awning. We may have to try to move a little bit more. As we see ball 3 from Zaruba, he looks over at Coach Sines right away, like he's not feeling it. He goes to the mound, starts scraping along, and kind of taking his time, wiping his eyes and his face, kind of ho-humming around. I think he's giving some time to Carter there to warm up.
Well, and again, let's just talk about it here again. While an opportunity is opening up for the Gators, Gabe does good to just watch a couple of pitches here.
And ball 4. No, call, third strike on Gabe Dixon. So it's a 3-1 count. We're going to have to move this up and out to get out of this rain. So we're going to take a quick break, try to do something here as the rain sets in LaGrange, Texas. So we'll be back here and try to catch you up as the count goes full. All right, we're back here with you. See if it worked. Gabe Dixon got a full count. He bounds it to the middle. Zaruba fields it, turns it to Lauer at short. He fires over to first for the double play. And the momentum just sucked the life out of the Gateway Gators as Dixon grounds into a double play. 1-6-3. And that is what the Gators did not need. And so now with 2 outs, it's going to bring up the top of the lineup, Chris Barlin. That was a tough out there. The one thing the Gators couldn't afford, Efren, was a double play, and that's what the Bulldogs turned on them.
Yeah, tough luck there. Gabe put it in play, but right back at the pitcher. Pitcher turns, and just a good turn all the way around by the Bulldog defense. 2 down now. Bring up Chris Varlin. See if Chris can start a 2-out rally here against Zaruba, and looks like they've got pitchers warming up in the bullpen. Coach Sines not taking any chances.
So Varlin steps in, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. He takes a cut at the first pitch, fouls it off to the right out of play. 4-1. Johnson walked and got on base, did a good job, and Zaruba fell behind 3-0 on Gabe Dixon, and then came back and worked it into a full count and got him on the double play. Curveball in the outside corner. Looked a little outside and low, but it gets a called strike. And so quickly now, Varlin falls behind. No balls and 2 strikes to Zaruba.
Yeah, Gabe thought he had ball 4 there and it was going to go 4-0. It was low and inside. Umpire called it a strike, and that allowed the Zaruba to fight back. Delivery there by Zaruba as a ball. Brings it to 1-2 now, so Chris battling here.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th for the Gators. Barlin steps in. And the pitch from Zuba outside. For ball 2.
And you hear the roar of the...
It's like they brought the begging population from Austin in for that one. That ball was so far outside into the left-hander batter box. Couldn't call that a strike. Great job of the umpire to stay to his zone. And it evens the count here, 2-2 for Barlin. Zaruba winds and fires. And Barlin stays alive, fighting it off, fouling it back behind home plate to the backstop. Great job by Chris there on that breaking pitch.
Yeah, good job of Chris staying alive, getting himself another chance here. 2-2. 2 outs.
Thankfully, the rain shower seemed to be a tease and is now stopped. We've been pretty nice day here in LaGrange so far, so we're lucky with the weather forecast. Pitch from Barlin, swing and a miss, and that's strike 3. And the Gators are down to their last 3 outs, down 9-4. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Bulldogs coming up here on SHN Sports. Welcome back to SHN Sports presentation of Gateway Gator Baseball. Wally Harmon along here with Efren Sanchez. Efren, we go to the bottom of the sixth. The Bulldogs lead the ball game 9-4. The elimination game here. The Gators have to have a quick inning here. Get 3 up and 3 down. Get the outs without any more damage and hope they can come back and have a rally in the top of the seventh, their final at bat. We'll see the 1, 2, and 3 hitters come up for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, 5-run deficit. You really just can't afford to give up any more here. Let's see if Cole can shut him down.
Lauer, the shortstop, steps in, the leadoff hitter for the Bulldogs. He'll swing and miss at the first pitch. I tell you what, Lauer, this entire series, will go after anything. He is an aggressive hitter. Last at bat, he shows that he had a triple down the right field line. But, man, what a job there of Cole to stay away from that. No balls, 1 strike to Lauer. Lauer settles back in. Johnson fires. Breaking pitch over the heart of the plate. Strike 2. Nice pitch there. Kind of caught Lauer off guard.
Yeah, good-looking pitch there by Cole. Froze Lauer there. Didn't know what to do with that one.
No balls, 2 strikes to Lauer. Johnson settles in. High heater. He chases it. Kicks the ball. Should have been out for interference, but Scott's going to make the play. They said the catcher kicked the ball. Nonetheless, it's a strikeout recorded in the books. 2-3 on the putout. And a good job there by Cole Johnson to get the first, all-important first out of the inning on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of strikeouts on Lauer this series, have we?
Not many at all. I'm not sure we have any. I'll have to look back. Steps in the second hitter, the first baseman, the pitcher now, Zaruba. And he swings at the first pitch and a miss. And that'll be a strike 1. No balls, 1 strike on Zaruba. So far today, Zaruba 0 for 2 and a hit by pitch in the last at-bat. Johnson settles back and fires low and outside for ball 1. That'll even up the count. 1-1 now on Zaruba. Zaruba moved from first to pitcher. Last inning replacing Packabush. And bats here now in the 2 spot for the Bulldogs. Pitch, curveball in the dirt in front of home plate for a ball. Johnson falls behind Zaruba here now. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Johnson readies and fires, and it's a high fastball. A little elevated on Zaruba. 4-3. So Johnson falls behind. 3 balls, 1 strike to Zaruba. As Zaruba will settle back in, Cole Johnson throws from the stretch. Get the pitch, come set, and deliver. And Zaruba takes a hack, and it'll be far out of play. Fortune ranges over, but it's into the bullpen on the third base side and brings the count full.
You know, for being as slight of stature as Zaruba is, boy, he's got some pop in that bat, doesn't he?
And he doesn't hesitate to take a big cut at it. That was a nice cut there. Just got a little early on the off-speed pitch and pulls it foul. Full count, the payoff pitch here from Johnson. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. And Zaruba takes a cut, drives it down left field. Aaron Werchin will make a diving play. The third base umpire does a great job to range out and make sure of the catch, but Werchin does a great job again for the Gators, recording the second out there on the F7.
Outstanding play by Aaron Werchin, diving all out in front of him, face first, sticks the glove out and makes a beautiful play out there in left field. So a good stamp of what Aaron Werchin is capable of there here in the postseason for the Gators defensively.
Packabush, the catcher, steps in now, 1 for 3 on the day. And he grounds ball to the shortstop in the hole. Chalman will backhand it, make a throw to first. Long throw over to Gabe Dixon. And he'll get the out, 6-3 on the putout. And that will end the 6th inning for the Bulldogs. 3 up, 3 down, just what the doctor ordered for the Gators. And that'll bring us to the ever-pressing 7th inning for the Gators. It's do or die, Efren. We'll keep it here. We'll talk about it. We'll enjoy this opportunity. It's been such a joy to broadcast Gator baseball here in the playoffs with you. To SHN Sports and Rob Hipp, we appreciate the opportunity. To the fans and the family, to our sponsors, KC Bumpus and the Best of Wilco team and the B-Hill family and Stephen, we just appreciate it. We've enjoyed it. What an opportunity. What a awesome time to watch these boys play the game they love. Yeah,
and what a run. Probably a good time to just talk about where these Gators have been. For a lot of people, they weren't supposed to be here. They weren't supposed to beat that Hallettsville team, but they did. They overcame. They persevered, played a beautiful game there in Game 1 against these Yoakum Bulldogs. But all that being said, last night they drop a tough one. But now an opportunity here in the top of the 7th. We only have 3 outs to work with, but 5 runs is not impossible.
The Gators will bring up to bat the 2, 3, and 4 holes to face Zaruba. Zaruba back out to work again this inning. Zaruba's done a good job. He's been an effective player. First base, batting, pitching. Steps back on the mound with a chance to close this one out, and the Yoakum Bulldogs advance for a freshman. Very impressive.
Well, and it's almost poetic justice, right? I mean, this kid could have been the player of the game yesterday. He hits, he pitches, and appropriately enough, here he is with an opportunity to shut the door on these Gators season. So hats off to Zaruba. He's done a great job, and lots of exciting times ahead for the Yoakum Bulldogs with this young man on the mound.
That'll bring up Simeon Harmon, the senior second baseman for the Gators here in the top of the 7th. Zaruba rocks and fires. Harmon takes a cut out to left field. And it's going to be a fly ball caught by the left fielder, Sanchez. F7 on the putout as Simeon Harmon flies out in what may be his last high school at bat. Good contact there. Nothing in the air is going to be really held up, anything to left and left center, because of that wind coming in over the back, the outfield fence. It's picked up here from our left to our right as the papers blow. But the Gateway gets their first out of the inning, and it brings up Nick Chalman. Chalman takes a cut at the first pitch. He pops it up over to the first baseman. And he's called off by the second baseman. Gordon will make the play. P4 in the book. And quickly the Gators are down to their last out here of the season.
I hate to bring it up here again, Wally, but that's just kind of been illustrative of what has happened here in this series. The Gators really not understanding situations. I mean, I appreciate that you want to be aggressive, but you need base runners. You're swinging at first pitches here. You're just giving all the opportunity and all the advantage to the pitcher, but something certainly that the Gators can grow from.
First pitch now to E.J. Sanchez. Steps in. Ball just above the dirt level and called a strike on the breaking ball. E.J. did not swing, and a little low there, but nonetheless gets the strike call. No balls, 1 strike to Sanchez, and a high fastball. He gets the ball called there, so it'll even out the count, 1-1. Last inning, like you said, Everett, Zaruba came in and struggled. 5 or 6 balls straight, 8 balls straight to Johnson and Gabe Dixon. And quickly, in the next inning, we jump on 2 quick first pitches. And so you didn't see many pitches. He's already thrown 88 in the combination of last 9 today. And we kind of give him the advantage. EJ takes that pitch for ball 2, and it's a 2-1 count. And there's the next pitch in the dirt. Gets past Packabush, and now it's a 3-1 count to E.J. Sanchez.
Yeah, and that's the kind of at-bat you would have wanted at the top, but nevertheless, something to grow on, something I know that Coach Gomer will probably want to just instill in his team is you have to be situational when you're in the plate. You have to know the big picture.
3-1 count to Sanchez. Fastball for a ball, little elevated. And that'll put E.J. Sanchez on at first. So the Gators get a runner here in the top of the 7th, trailing 9-4. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Sawyer Scott, the catcher. So far today, Sawyer Scott 1 for 3. Had a hit in his last at-bat with a strikeout and a line out to third base. Zaruba with a fake throw to first. Sanchez dances around back to the bag. And now Zaruba will address the rubber. He'll watch Sanchez at first. And he'll fire home on the side slab. Breaking pitch in there for strike 1. It'll be interesting to watch as Yoakum looks to advance here against a Bishop team, how much the Yoakum Bulldogs can live on a breaking pitch the way they lived on it in this series.
Well, I would say that would be a good thing to take from here and to continue to use.
Zaruba fires another breaking pitch. Sawyer Scott fouls it off and quickly falls behind. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And so now the Gators down to their last strike of the season. If nothing else happens, you got Sawyer Scott up to bat. Good power, but he's got to be prepared for the breaking pitch. Zaruba comes set. Sanchez leads off first. Zaruba takes a look and throws. It's a high fastball out of the zone for ball 1. That'll bring the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes on Sawyer Scott. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Gators trailing 9-4. A great performance here today by the Yoakum Bulldogs. They were scrappy, forced the issue from the get-go, and have worked hard. Sawyer Scott's going to drive it down the line. Ground ball just foul of third base. And stay alive in this at bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As we feel a few raindrops coming our way. Again here. Sawyer Scott will come set back in the box. Zaruba comes set from the stretch, looks over at Sanchez, and he'll fire home. Sawyer Scott lays off the high heater, and that's ball 2.
I'd be remiss, Wally, if I wouldn't, if we don't just tip our cap to Sawyer Scott, who's had a great sophomore season here, given the job of handling duties behind the plate, has done a very, very good job here in his sophomore campaign. So great season by Sawyer Scott. Looking for more great things from him here in the Gator future.
Absolutely. Young catcher. There, next pitch from Zaruba on the outside corner. And the cardboard and markers passed out. The begging continues here in the bottom of the 7th. I tell you what, these Bulldog fans have been ruthless from the first pitch go. That pitch way outside. No, it's easy to see from the third base line, but sitting right here behind home plate, that ball's in the left-handed batter's box. Great pitch by Zaruba, but a great job by Sawyer Scott to lay off to force the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the payoff pitch. It's up and out, back behind the backstop, out of play. Sawyer Scott bites again. Now multiple pitches in here, making Zaruba work for this last out. Good job by Sawyer Scott to battle. Here in the top of the 7th, 9-4 the Bulldogs lead. The winner advances on to face Bishop in the next round, the regional semifinals. Gateway down to their last strike of the season. E.J. Sanchez leads off first, held there by the first baseman, Perez, I believe it is. The pitch, swing and a miss, check swing, and that's the ball game. 3 outs. And the Yoakum Bulldogs have won the game and the series 9-4 here in Game 3 as they celebrate on the mound. A great job by Zaruba there, and nothing you can do but tip your cap to a Bulldog team that just came in and never gave up. They lose Game 1 6-1 on Thursday night, and they come back and won 2 big ball games here, Efren.
Yeah, well, really never a doubt in today's game. The Gators fought valiantly, but today, it just from the outset, all the pressure, all the impact was coming, all the energy was coming from that Yoakum Bulldog dugout. The execution was very, very good to start the game. Playing small ball, putting the bunts down, putting runners on, hit and run, all of those plays that allow you to win baseball games. They were just fundamentally sound and out-executed the Gators today. Something that the Gators can learn from. Certainly nothing to hang your head about if you are the Gators. This Yoakum team probably pitched a little bit better than what most people thought they were. Sometimes when you play in some of these divisions that are a little bit marginal, you want to dismiss some of those stats. And in this case, guess what? They were the real deal. The 3 pitchers that we faced all had an idea of what they were doing on the mound. Maybe they didn't have the best stuff. Maybe they weren't blowing people away, but they knew how to pitch, and they kept the Gator hitters off balance. But also a lesson for the Gators that in these types of situations, you will need to work on situational hitting and understand the big picture. That forces the defense to make more plays and puts a lot more pressure on defenses. So good season by the Gators. Tip your cap to the Bulldogs as you wish them the best in their next round. But a good season all the way around. I don't think anybody's disappointed in this Gateway Gator season here in 2019.
With the last ball game played here for the Gators this season, we say goodbye to 5 seniors. Ethan Miller, Gage Heyman, Cole Johnson, Carter Parsons, and Simeon Harmon. They played their last game in a Gateway uniform as they go on to different paths of life. We thank them for their year. They did a great job, the team leading the team. A lot of talent behind them here at Gateway, a young team, a lot of sophomores and juniors. Will be interesting to watch over the next couple of years on how they develop. And I tell you what, though, you look back and you go over the series in your mind, Efren. Last night, game Thursday, the Gators played great. They did a good job of putting the ball in play, forcing across the runs, 6-1. They get the win. But then you turn around last night, and it's almost like they played knowing they had Saturday, but not going to take a chance to win it to not go to Saturday. And I tell you what, Coach Shines' team did a great job of fighting to get that game last night and then came out and attacked today. And you just didn't feel that attack from the Gators. Shines came out coaching these Bulldogs, and they pushed the issue from the second inning on. They did not back off, and it all happened from 4 through 9. The top 3 hitters really didn't do anything until the 4th at bat when Lauer got the triple to clear the bases. All the work had been done by 4, 5, 6, and mainly 6, 7, 8, and 9. And you got to give it to them. It's a scrappy lineup, but you would have liked to have seen maybe a different approach, a different attacking mentality for the Gators. They kind of came in kind of on their heels, it seemed like. After last night's tough loss there in the last inning, they kind of came on the hills, and the Bulldogs came for the throat of the Gators, and they went after it, and they took it. Yeah,
well, and you kind of wonder if there was an emotional blow dealt to the Gators when Krieger comes out of the game early yesterday, right? So that changes the whole dynamic. That changes the game plan going into this series for Coach Gohmert. And so you wonder if there was a hangover effect because of that, and maybe the team felt like maybe they were going into this battle without all of their weapons, really. But just another thing I'd like to point out here before we sign off, Wally. This is the beauty of high school baseball. It's different than the major leagues. It's different than college baseball. As I look out onto the field and as I look behind me into the stands and see a lot of teary-eyed parents, and you see on the field a lot of players hugging each other, perhaps for the last time on a baseball field, you just appreciate the beauty of this sport, what it teaches, what it builds, and what a blessing it is to be a part of it. So just thankful to be able to be part of this broadcast. But right now I'll just draw the picture of what's going on here on the field and in the stands for the seniors. Cole Johnson, what an amazing, amazing career he had for Gateway, just establishing the program. All the accolades that Cole has put together for this team. You look at the Gage Hemmons, you look at the Carter Parsons, you look at the Simeon Harmons, who Simeon waited his turn and then played his best baseball here in the postseason. Wally, I got to put you on the spot. You've got to be a proud papa, my friend. You know that, and I mean this from my heart, Simeon's always been one of my favorite baseball players. I love that kid. Love him so much. Just a hard-nosed baseball player and just a fine, fine young man. But as we watch these kids, it's hard for my throat not to get tied up here, Wally, as we watch your son and the other seniors. Gosh, I hope I didn't forget another senior here.
Ethan Miller.
Ethan Miller, as we watch them watch off this baseball field, you almost want to just invite the crowd there who still happens to be listening to us to just enjoy the moment. And I appreciate the blessings of what this whole experience has been.
And we wish congratulations and good luck to Ethan Miller. He goes to Kansas State on a golf scholarship to play golf at the collegiate level at a D1. Ethan Miller, a great golfer. So it'll be fun to follow him as he goes to Kansas State. There's Cole Johnson, moves on to Southwestern and play baseball there at Southwestern University in Georgetown. And then to the rest of the seniors as they all graduate here June 1st for Gateway. What a season, what an opportunity, and what a joy it's been to watch these Gators this year. You've got some good ball players coming back. You got E.J. Sanchez, the third baseman. You got Sawyer Scott, just a sophomore. Noah Krieger, just a sophomore. You just hope he can get healthy over the offseason, the summertime, and not push it back. Make sure his element is fixed. That you hate to see him go down in a situation like this in a playoff match where he has been one of our top pitchers all year long and done a great job. And just you see physically he can't do it. And had to come out last night and the pressure put on Cole Johnson to pitch there and then come back today in relief of Gabe Dixon. You got Gabe Dixon coming back. So many. Nick Chalman coming back for his senior year. And so this a talent team would come back. They're going to have to fill some holes. They'll have to step in. You're pitching. You lose senior Cole Johnson. You lose senior Carter Parsons, a reliever. But you've got pitchers. You've got Noah Krieger. You've got Thomas Huell. You've got Gabe Dixon. You've got Nick Chalman can pitch if he has to, and that may be pushed into a situation where you see him pitch some next year. And other arms that are going to come around up through the ranks from the JBs this year. And so hats off to the Yoakum Bulldogs. What a performance. They came back from a gritty, a tough 6-1 loss in Game 1 to take the next two games, 6-5 and 9-4. Best of luck to them as they face Bishop in the next round. That'll be a battle to watch as the Bishop coach was here. Coaches are here doing some scouting as they prepare for their matchup this next weekend. But good luck to and congratulations to the Yoakum Bulldogs and to Coach Gohmert. I tell you what, first year as a head coach, his first season as the head coach of the Gateway Gators, and his first season as a head coach, 25-9. not a bad season. You finished second in district to a tough Blanco team. You finished 9-2 and 10-2 in district, and you finished off with a 25-9 record, beating Hallettsville, where, like you said, no one said we weren't supposed to beat them. And these Gators came out and played well, and just a great season and a fun one to watch. It's fun to watch my son as he finishes up. So what do? You enjoy the season. You wish him all the best. Congratulations and good luck to Yoakum.
As you're saying that, Wally, you're seeing Coach Gomert one by one, giving his guys a big bear hug. And, hey, that's what this is all about, Wally.
The bond, what a good team here. Great group of young men. You've seen them grow together this season. And so it's fun to watch here as they approach each coach, all three of them, Coach Hankey and Coach Johnson and Coach Gomert, and shake hands and give them hugs. And what a season, what a fun time it's been to watch. And so as we finish the day, 9-4, the Gators lose Game 3 here and are eliminated from the playoffs. Best of luck to the Yoakum Bulldogs. And we thank, again, KC Bumpus and the Best of Wilco Realty team for sponsoring, being our head sponsor here in this series to bring you Gateway Gator Baseball, to Rob Hipp and SHN Sports. We're going to close it out quickly as the rain kicks in here in LaGrange to make sure we get the equipment out. Thanks for listening to Gateway Gator Baseball here on SHN Sports.
The proceeding was a presentation of the SHNSports.com broadcast network. This broadcast was under the direction and copywritten by the Shoning Hip Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Shoning Hip Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Shoning Hip Network and SHN Sports.